Romance Rendezvous. Chapter 226, Eyes. Chapter 226, Eyes. In 3 days, the 2 kilometers of asphalt road was completed. Asphalt had many advantages over cement. It was easier to lay down, more efficient, and easier to maintain. A cement road needed to be dried for at least a week before it could be used. Cement also swelled. If the difference in temperature was too much, it could crack or break. On the other hand, asphalt could solidify within a few hours under regular temperature. Cars could go on it in 24 hours. There weren't many pure asphalt roads anymore because it could produce carcinogens under high temperatures. Now, most asphalt roads used mixed materials. Asphalt was the main ingredient with fiber and other materials mixed in. This reduced the toxins released. The cost also rose considerably, but Chen Zhao was willing to spend more money. Large amounts of construction materials were sent to the site. First, they had to build the foundation. The earth by the river was looser and damp. Plus, a portion of the building would be underground, so the foundation had to be pretty deep. Another portion would be built in the river, so construction would be more troublesome. Of course, Chen Zhao didn't have to worry about this. Fellwood would take care of everything. Just as Chen Zhao returned from the construction site, he received Dell's call. "Chun, can you come over? I think there's something wrong with Faith." "Oh, Mary didn't take care of her?" "It's not Mary's problem. It's best if you can come over because I'm not really sure." Judging from Dell's tone, he didn't seem to be joking. Usually, when Dell asked for Chen Zhao, he would say some playful things even if something was wrong. But today, Dell was serious the entire time. Chen Zhao felt like something really was wrong. When he arrived at Dell's home, Dell hurriedly led Chen Zhao in. It was obvious that he really cared about Faith. Dell was unreliable usually, but for this, he acted as serious as a parent should. "Dell, what's wrong with Faith?" He didn't answer. Entering the living room, Chen Zhao saw Mary holding Faith. "Mary, Chen, you're here? Let me see Faith." Chen Zhao took Faith, but he couldn't see anything wrong with her. "What exactly is wrong?" "I think that she can't see," Dell said. "Huh." Chen Zhao sat on the sofa. He took out a small flashlight and shone into Faith's eyes. She didn't have any reaction. Then Chen Zhao snapped his fingers by Faith's ears. She immediately reacted, reaching toward Chen Zhao while making noises. His preliminary judgment now was that Faith really couldn't see. "Did you take her to the hospital to check?" "Not yet. Do it immediately. I'll go with you." "Chun, what if Faith can't see?" Dell asked worriedly. "You're her guardian even if she can't see." "That's not what I meant. I mean, if she can't see, what will her future be like? I want her to grow healthily and play like the other kids. I don't want her life to be in darkness." Dell's expression was serious. "Go to the hospital to check first. We can discuss this when the results come out." Chen Zhao and Dell brought Faith to the hospital. She was quickly taken to a dust-free room for testing by the ophthalmologist. Chen Zhao and Dell could only sit in the hallway, waiting for the results. Just then, Fer came over. Seeing Chen Zhao there, she was surprised. "Chen, why are you here? Don't tell me your patient is in there again." "It's my friend's child," Chen Zhao said. "Come here. I have a question," Fer said, pulling Chen Zhao to the side. "What's wrong? How are you and Fei Lai?" "We're dating," Chen Zhao answered. "Is there a problem?" "I don't have a problem, but my dad is really conservative. He might not agree with you two dating." Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. What year was it? How could there still be such an old-fashioned parent? "My dad is really authoritative and not easy to talk to." Romance Rendezvous. If he thinks that you and Fei Lai can't be together, he might use force. "Me and Fei Lai don't need other people to point around," Chen Zhao said, just as forcefully. "Even if that person is Fei Lai's father." "Fine. I hope you can convince him." After Four left, Dell moved over. "Chun, who's that pretty doctor? You guys seem to have a special relationship. Did you two have sex yet?" "She's my girlfriend's sister." "That's it," Chen Zhao said. "So you've been acting the entire night and now you're being stupid again." "I'm worried inside, but it's useless," Dell said helplessly. An hour later, The doctor responsible for the test came out with the report. A nurse carried Faith. "Mr. Dell, the situation isn't good." "What's bad?" Dell instantly grew nervous. "Your daughter has congenital choroidal hypoplasia. She can't react to light." "Can you do surgery?" Dell asked. "The child is too young and can't undergo surgery. Also, this condition is congenital, so it can't be fixed. In addition, she has the Diego blood type." "Chun, what's that?" Diego was discovered in 1955. It's named after the first patient who produced a new blood antigen. This patient gave birth to an infant with neonatal hemolytic disease. An antigen was found that could attack the infant's red blood cells through the placenta. In 1967, the second Diego antigen was found and more kept being discovered in 1995. Say it more simply, it's a rare blood type. And then? Faith's choroid is underdeveloped, so if she does surgery, someone will have to donate their eyes. This means that if Faith wants to see, she'll need to switch out her entire eye. But with how rare the Diego blood type is, there might not be one match in decades. Do you understand? Can you buy it on the black market? I'm willing to spend as much money as needed if I can buy it. Is $1 million enough? Chun Zhao slapped Dell's head. "Idiot." The doctor walked away, shaking his head. Chun Zhao glared at Dell. "Watch your language. This isn't your house." Thank God the doctor didn't take it seriously. Otherwise, you could have gotten reported. "Why? I didn't do anything. I can't even talk about it." "You know how the organs on the black market get there?" "How?" "There are organ harvesting places everywhere in the world. Some organ harvesters get their eyes on tourists. Then they're dragged to the place and their organs are taken out. Sometimes, their bodies are found in the rivers or beaches." Chapter 227, Agreement. Chapter 227, Agreement. Never buy an organ from the black market or book an organ from someone, because an innocent person might die due to your decision. As a doctor, Chen Zhao knew how horrifying organ traffickers were. Organ trading was also known as the cruelest trade in human history. Tens of thousands of dollars was enough for an organ trafficker to dismember an innocent man. Dell was kind of abnormal most of the time, but it did not mean he was a bad guy. "Chun, is there really not a single solution?" Chun Zhao bit his own lips and thought about it. "Leave her in the hospital for now, and let the medical experts see if she can be treated." Chen Zhao wanted to use a pristine eyeball, but he could not do it before Dell. He planned to wait for Faith to be discharged. Then, he would bring her to his house and give her a pristine eyeball. Dell left Faith in the hospital because it was only a preliminary examination, not a conclusion. Her current diagnosis might just be wrong. No matter how unlikely some things were, most people would still hope that they could become reality. Chun Zhao left the hospital alone. Suddenly, a car charged toward Chun Zhao. He quickly ran backward. The car also stopped. "Are you trying to fucking kill me?" Chun Zhao roared. A man whose face was covered in sweat alighted from the car. Without apologizing to Chen Zhao, he flung the rear door open and carried a child out. Then, he bolted into the hospital as fast as he could. If Chen Zhao knew that there was a kid requiring urgent treatment, he would not have cursed the driver. He touched his nose, feeling somewhat embarrassed. "Mr. John, what's wrong with young John?" For hastily approached John and saw him carrying John Jr. "I wanted to call him for lunch just now, but he kept lying on the sofa. I couldn't wake him up." As they ran along the corridor, For shone a torchlight into John Jr.'s eyes. Pupils dilated and bloodshot in his eyes, probably caused by nerve compression. "Mr. John, what does his report last month say?" "The tumor in his brain has increased in size obviously, and the rate is much faster than a few months ago," John replied urgently. "Miss Four, please save John. He's only 5. Has he been taking his medicine timely?" "Yes, all the time. But since last month, it has been ineffective. We'll send him into the ICU first." Soon, the examination report came out. The tumor in John Jr.'s brain had restored its size from 5 months ago. "Miss Four, how did you manage to reduce the tumor's size last time? Can you please do it again? The cost doesn't matter. You know that I only have one kid. If he's gone, all my money will become meaningless. Please save him, at any cost. Forbid her own finger and remained silent for a while. I know someone who can help. I can try, but I can't promise that he's definitely willing to help. Who's he? I'll convince him. No. If he finds out that I've told someone else about it, he will definitely not help. Four came to the rooftop and called Chen Zhao. Chun, I need your help, For said directly. Do what? I hope you can treat a kid's brain tumor, the kid in the ward that you accidentally entered last time. You relieved his condition that time, but it's back again. I can't do it, and I'm also not the person who helped him last time. Chen Zhao denied as usual. If you can help me, I'll say something good about you before my dad. I may even provide you with his information. Hearing Four's words, Chen Zhao began to hesitate. To be honest, Chen Zhao was really frustrated when he had heard that Fei Lai's father would very likely try to stop their relationship. Parental disapproval has always been an unsolvable problem since ancient times. Chen Zhao clearly could not drag Fei Lai's father out and beat him up. Nevertheless, Four's cooperation might just resolve her father's hostility and denial toward him. Do that kid's parents know about me? His father doesn't know who you are? Then never let him know, Chen Zhao said. Also, I have another request. What? Remember the kid that my friend and I sent to the hospital today? Yes. I asked about her too. Choroidal hypoplasia. I want you to prepare an operating room for me. During the surgery, nobody can come in. I also don't want any cameras to record the process down. What do you want to do to that kid? Another rule between us, don't ask me about what I want to do again. Can you heal her eyes? For gasped. Do you agree or not? How long do you need the room for? About half an hour. Okay, I'll think of a way. When do you want me to do the operation? The sooner, the better. That kid's in a really critical state. For pause before she continued, the best timing is tonight. I'm afraid he can't live for much longer. The longer we wait, the more severe his condition will be. Also, it's much easier for me to arrange an operating room for you at night. Tonight? When? After midnight. Fine, Chen Zhao agreed. Send me his examination report. I need to prepare a suitable drug for him. For immediately sent the report to Chen Zhao. It was out of her trust toward him, and also because she had no other choice. After studying demonic crystals over the past many weeks, Chen Zhao now had a much better understanding of how they could be used. To the human body, a demonic crystal was, perhaps ironically, both an excellent medicine and a fatal toxin. While a piece of demonic crystal could cure a person of his illness, it would also destroy his body to some extent. Hence, using demonic crystals to extend one's life indefinitely was but an impossible fantasy. Humans could not do what demons could not. Nonetheless, other substances could be used to neutralize the damage demonic crystals had to the human body. In this way, demonic crystals would do little to no damage and instead restore and repair the body, maximizing their effects. Of course, the better way was to use perfect demonic crystals. Perfect crystals were indeed much more effective than ordinary demonic crystals, but they were too scarce. As a result, Chen Zhao would not use them whenever possible. He did not have too many perfect crystals, not to mention that he had no idea when he would next obtain them. When he had killed the murderer that time, he obtained his first piece of perfect crystal. He received another one after saving 9 people from the fire. The third one appeared after he had encountered the Mexican gang and sent their leader, Odutra, into prison. At the moment, he still had more than half of the second piece of perfect crystal. The third one was still complete, and Chen Zhao had yet no intention of breaking it apart. Chapter 228. What floor is this? Chapter 228. What floor is this? Fei Lai came back in the evening and realized that Chen Zhao had come home earlier than her. Chun, you didn't go out today? I did and then came back. Chen Zhao grabbed Fei Lai's hand and pulled her into his lap. I'm all sticky. Let me shower. Together, Fei Lai knew that Chen Zhao would say that, as he always did. She couldn't resist him either, so Chen Zhao could always do what he wanted. During the heated moment, Chen Zhao murmured, I'm going out tonight. Where? Hospital. You're sick? Wait, you're a doctor. For has a patient that needs my help? Should I drive you? Sure. Chun Zhao personally made dinner. Usually, Fei Lai prepared it, but Chun Zhao came back earlier this time. Naturally, he couldn't let Fei Lai work. They left around 9 p.m. During this time, Fer called to ask when Chun Zhao would come. When they reached the hospital, Fer was waiting at the door. She was surprised to see Fei Lai here too. Fei Lai, you told me last time that you have nothing with Chen. Then a few days later, you guys got together. What do you mean got together? It sounds so ugly. We're dating. Fei Lai rolled her eyes. How's your preparation? I checked the surgery room schedule for tonight. There are 3 empty rooms after 11. I'll arrange an alarm for little John, and I'll take him into the surgery room. Then I'll bring Faith in too. Fei Lai had only come to drive Chen Zhao. She went home after taking him to the hospital. Around 10 p.m., Four put Chen Zhao into a surgery room and also made him change into the white coat, along with a cap and mask. A while later, Four and a nurse pushed little John into the surgery room. The nurse was surprised to see another doctor there. Go out first, Four told her. Hand this to me. Oh, okay. After the nurse left, Chun Zhao looked at Four. Bring Faith over. Do you need help in treating little John? No need. Chun Zhao shook his head. Four was disappointed. She'd wanted to secretly learn from him, but Chun Zhao didn't even give her the chance. Petty ass, Four complained before leaving the room. Chun Zhao first checked little John's heartbeat and other indicators. He was in bad shape. The tumor was already on his nerve, and he'd been unconscious for 12 hours without waking up. Chun Zhao didn't immediately give him the demonic crystal. Instead, he gave him the potion made from brewing the never-wilting flower in the soul-return spring of hell. This potion could strengthen one's vitality. Chun Zhao made it mainly for the heavily injured or critically ill. Most times, they were already in a dangerous situation. Impulsive treatments could speed up their deaths. On the other hand, taking this potion could largely ensure that the patient would be safe during treatment. After little John's vitals steadied, Chun Zhao finally gave him the demonic crystal. At that time, Four carried Faith in. I brought the baby. What next? Go out. You don't need my help to treat her eyes either? Four stared at him, gritting her teeth. Nope. Fine, I'll go. Four tossed the child down angrily. After Chen Zhao took the child and made sure that Four was gone, he took out 2 pristine eyeballs. He realized that there were still roots on the eyeballs. They looked pretty scary, like parasites, but they actually weren't dangerous. They were probably the safest things in hell. Chun Zhao didn't have to dig out Faith's eyes and then stuff the pristine eyeballs in. The pristine eyeballs could automatically replace the original eyes. He placed them on Faith's face. Then the roots started crawling toward her eyes automatically. The scene looked strange, but the process wouldn't hurt the child. After that, the pristine eyeball's roots started seeping into Faith's eye sockets. One could vaguely see the roots wriggling slowly under Faith's soft skin. What are you doing? Little John's voice suddenly sounded behind him. Chun Zhao turned around to look at little John, who'd woken up on the surgery table. You're dreaming. With that, he snapped and cast the Banshee's charm. When he turned back at Faith, the 2 pristine eyeballs had completely melded with her body. Chun Zhao carried her out of the room. Four was waiting outside the door. Seeing Chun Zhao come out so quickly, she was shocked. You're done? Done. You can push little John out now. Four pushed little John back to the ICU and took some samples. Chun Zhao stayed in Faith's room. More than an hour passed when Four entered with shock written all over her face. Chun, you really did it. John's tumor is reducing in size quickly. You really did it. Okay, we promised, Chun Zhao said. I already did it, so what's next is all you. My friend is coming tomorrow. Take Faith for a checkup again. After the results come out, tell my friend. Just say that there was an error in the test yesterday and there are no problems with the eyes. You fixed the child's eyes too? No shit. Otherwise, why did I spend all that effort? Why don't you tell your friend that you cured his child's eyes? That friend of mine isn't reliable, Chun Zhao said. He can't keep his mouth shut. You trust me this much? I don't trust you, but I have no choice. Plus, you're my sister-in-law too. Just then, a third person's voice sounded in the room. Adele? Chun Zhao and Four yelped at the same time. They saw someone standing at the window. It was Del. The curtain had been pulled, so they didn't notice his presence until he made a sound. Del, why are you here? Sleeping. Why are you sleeping here? To look after Faith. In the movies, the parents always have to stay with their kid in the hospital. Chun Zhao turned to Four. You didn't notice him when you came for the kid? The lights were off, so I didn't notice. Four felt awkward too. She definitely didn't expect that Del would be here the whole time. Why didn't you make a sound when I came for the child? I was asleep. When did you wake up? When you two were talking, what did you hear? Everything. Fear appeared on Del's face. You're not going to kill me, right? Chun Zhao looked outside the window. Four, what floor is this? 12th. Four also had a creepy smile. Ah, Del yelled. Wah. Faith was scared awake by Del. Chapter 229, Fall. Chapter 229, Fall. Del drove Chun Zhao home, his face still filled with displeasure. Chun, I'm very unhappy now. I can't believe you didn't trust me at all. I thought we were friends. If I didn't take you as a friend, I wouldn't have treated Faith's eyes. But you could have told me directly that you can heal her eyes, not act like a thief. And then you can announce to the whole world that someone can cure a blind person of her blindness? Is that not good? No, not at all. The treatment is very complicated and can't be repeated indefinitely. Fine. I promise to you, no. I swear in the name of God that I won't tell anyone, including Tsura. I want you to swear in the name of your dick, not God. You've done enough blasphemous things. Fine. I swear. When they reached Chun Zhao's house, Del also alighted from his car and gave Chun Zhao a tight hug. Chun, thank you. Getting to know you is the luckiest thing in my life. Chun Zhao pushed Del away. Don't come so close to me. Then, Chun Zhao waved his hand. Take care of Faith. Chun, when did you take me as your friend? When you stopped asking me to treat your dick? When Chun Zhao entered the house, he realized that Fei Lai was still waiting for him in the living room. Chun, how did it go? Quite smoothly, I would say. Smiling, Chun Zhao seized Fei Lai's slim waist and started to touch her gently. Fei Lai's breathing became heavier and heavier. Before they left, they already had sex for 2 hours. Now, Chun Zhao wanted it again. Fei Lai was speechless at Chun Zhao's endless vigor. At night, Chun Zhao was suddenly awakened by a phone call. So was Fei Lai. You sleep. I'll go out and answer the call. Chun Zhao calmed Fei Lai down and left the bedroom with his phone. Hi, Gaia. Chun, I'm outside your house now. Why? You're going to rob us? Anderson's in trouble. I need your help. What happened to him? He went for underground boxing. Now he's severely injured. Wait for me to put on some clothes. Chun Zhao could not care about his bearing. Chun Zhao had quite a good impression of Anderson in the fitness center. He was a very family-centered man. Chun Zhao had heard that he was raising his kid by himself. Whenever Chun Zhao invited him for a drink after their training, Anderson would reject him politely. The reason was always that he had to go back and take care of his child. Also, Anderson was a strong and sincere person. Fei Lai, a patient is in urgent need of my help. I'm going out. Do you need me to drive you? No, just sleep. My friend is driving me there. Be careful then. Chun Zhao grabbed his toolbox. When he left the house, he immediately saw Gaia's car outside. He felt that he really had to get a driving license. Having to be fetched by others all the time was really inconvenient. In particular, Chun Zhao was very uncomfortable that Fei Lai had to sometimes drive him at night. After he boarded Gaia's car, he immediately asked, Where's Anderson now? In my fitness center. Why not the hospital? Gaia glanced at Chun Zhao. He's an illegal immigrant. Huh. Chun Zhao did not expect that. Anderson was a white man. In America, most illegal immigrants were Asian, Latino, or African, especially Latino, since the two places were nearby. He's both a Latino and German, but his ancestral home is in Mexico. He's already been here for 4 years. Are you very close to him? I brought him here from Mexico. What's your relationship? He's the older brother of one of my students. Since he got here, he has been a coach in my center. But why would he go for underground boxing? He wants to get his son a legal identity. It's expensive. Chun Zhao finally understood why Gaia would sometimes train with Anderson. Anderson was definitely not rich enough to hire Gaia as his coach. After all, Chun Zhao had to pay Gaia a few $1,000s for a month's training. It was not cheap. The car stopped below the fitness center. The entire building was covered in ominous darkness. Suddenly, a person fell from the sky. Bang! Both Gaia and Chun Zhao were astonished. Anderson. Gaia reacted first. She immediately charged forward, but Anderson was already lifeless. Chun Zhao stood beside Gaia and shook his head. He's dead. Anderson was totally dead. Chun Zhao did not even have the time to save him. Seeing a familiar person fall and die before him was certainly not a pleasant experience. Chun Zhao could not tell whether Gaia was sad or angry. With an emotionless face, she called the police. Soon, the police came. They were from Leonardo's police station. Although they were not led by Melson this time, Chun Zhao still knew most of them. Chun Zhao and Gaia were brought back to the police station and questioned. Because Gaia had a driving recorder in her car, they had no suspicion. Gaia told the police most of the facts. On the other hand, Chun Zhao just said that he did not know what was going on. Early in the morning, they left the station. Anderson's death report was also out. He had committed suicide. Chun Zhao did not know what kind of pressure could force Anderson to make such a decision. In fact, not too long ago, he was also himself a homeless foreigner. If he did not meet Ethan that time, he might have ended up in the same place as Anderson. Surviving in a foreign country was no easier than surviving in the wild. Getting a good life was yet an even bigger challenge. If one did not have any skills, the most likely possibility was for one to end up living on the street. He still has a child, right? Chun Zhao asked. I'm planning to adopt his kid. Gaia stared blankly before her. Doesn't that child have an uncle? He died on the battlefield. If you need anything, call me. Gaia glanced at Chun Zhao and then nodded. Just then, Chun Zhao received a call from Ethan. Chun, client for you. This is the address. After bidding Gaia goodbye, Chun Zhao headed for the address. It was not a new client. When Chun Zhao saw the address, he knew that it was Daly Simpson and her adopted daughter Vil. Chun Zhao knocked on the door. As the door opened, he saw roughly the same scene as he had the last time. The living room was in a mess. Daly had a bruise on her forehead and Vil was sitting on the sofa. Did World War III just happen here? Chapter 230, Unhappy Coincidental Meeting. Chapter 230, Unhappy Coincidental Meeting. Mr. Chun, I must work in the morning, Daly Simpson said. Treat me first. I can't go to work with an injured face. The mother and daughter were both injured. Clearly, Daly didn't plan on giving in to her stepdaughter. She cared more about her career than her stepdaughter. However, judging by Vil's swollen face and messy hair, Chun Zhao felt like she had heavier injuries than Daly. I'll treat your daughter first. Treat me first. I need to work. I can't go to the TV station with bruises. Chun Zhao glanced at Daly and ignored her. I'm paying you. Daly yelled angrily. In real life, she wasn't the mature and charismatic woman that she was on TV. You better think carefully, or I'll report you for child abuse. Chun Zhao barked. Daly stopped talking. She'd always been protecting her image. If she had a child abuse scandal, her career would be over, so she admitted defeat and didn't argue with Chun Zhao again. Chun Zhao sat beside Vil while the girl looked at him. I remember you. You saved me last time. Does it hurt here? Chun Zhao gently pressed the bruise on her face. She flinched. Yeah. Vil's injuries weren't too serious. Chun Zhao applied the ointment he created. Other than the bruises on her face, Vil also had burns on her arms, but they weren't bad. Basically, a woman and a girl fought, and neither were let off easily. Chun Zhao went to treat Daly next. She was really pissed, but she wasn't willing to anger Chun Zhao now. He could really call the cops. Child abuse wasn't just a civil dispute. It was a crime that she could be sued for. $3,000, thanks. Daly practically shot flames out of her eyes. Oh, right. Ms. Simpson, I took pictures of your daughter's injuries. I hope there won't be a next time. Otherwise, I'll send the pictures to the police. For the sake of your future, please control your emotions. Mister, can I have your number? Vil looked at Chun Zhao with innocent eyes. However, she definitely wasn't innocent or naive. Even Cheryl was more innocent than her. This girl wasn't going through puberty. She was practically evolving into a demon. There probably weren't many girls her age who could fight with their stepmothers. She was probably the only one who could do it so successfully too. Chun Zhao didn't take her side out of pity. It was because she really did need treatment first. Plus, Chun Zhao hated Daly's self-centered attitude. When he left Daly's house, he saw a woman in front of the apartment across from him. The woman glanced at him. Chun Zhao glanced at the woman. When the elevator came, Chun Zhao went in immediately. He recognized the woman, and he was sure that she recognized him too. Her name was something like Irwin, and she had a sister named Shalian. Back when he treated Shalian, Chun Zhao had stupidly thought that it was just a sister fight. They ended up being rivals of a gang. The two sisters had killed dozens of people, shedding a river of blood. The moment before the elevator closed, Irwin entered. She put one hand on the elevator wall, cornering Chun Zhao. Mr. Chun, we meet again. Chun Zhao realized that he was stuck. Irwin was tall, probably only an inch or two shorter than him. She was also wearing stilettos. Her female suit had a low collar, without any tight clothing under, and a short skirt. Her chestnut hair rolled down like a waterfall, covering her left cheek and shoulder. She was an aggressive woman, a true poisonous beauty. Irwin traced Chun Zhao's chest with her finger. Won't you come in for tea? No thanks. I'm busy. Chun Zhao's breaths were short. Are you worried about something? I don't know what you're talking about. Chun Zhao's smile was a bit stiff. Irwin chuckled. Her smile was mesmerizing. Don't worry. I'm not interested in people outside of my targets. I hope you won't get onto my blacklist. Chun Zhao subtly let out a breath. But that moment, Irwin's expression turned cold again. But if you dare spread nonsense, I can't promise what I'll do to you. Irwin suddenly jabbed Chun Zhao's chest. He pushed her aside in pain. Irwin grabbed his wrist, trying to twist it, but Chun Zhao's wrist didn't budge. Pressing a hand on Irwin's plump chest, Chun Zhao pushed her to the wall. Irwin tried to attack, but realized that she couldn't move. Chun Zhao's arm was stronger than she'd imagined. She lifted her leg for a kick to the dick. Chun Zhao's hand was already before Irwin's knee. The moment she lifted it, it got caught. Ms. Irwin, can you repeat what you said earlier? She didn't expect that Chun Zhao would be so skilled either. She thought that she could teach him a lesson and then threaten him easily. Instead, she was taught a lesson. It was mostly because Chun Zhao was too strong. She couldn't breathe with his hand on her chest. Mr. Chin, you're so powerful. I'm starting to like you. She licked her lips. Blazing hot air brushed against Chun Zhao's face. He didn't want anything to do with this poisonous beauty. He turned and left as soon as the elevator opened. Nothing good would come out of this relationship. But then Irwin came from behind and grabbed Chun Zhao's arm. Let's have a meal. I'm sorry, I'm busy. Goodbye. Chun Zhao shook her off. We'll pretend we've never met before. I've never met and you've never met me, okay? Chun Zhao really didn't want to be on the mind of a killer who also had a sister. Being able to stop her in the elevator didn't mean that he could really defeat her. A killer would never go face-to-face with you. They usually gave you a sudden bullet in some corner. Chun Zhao didn't want to live in fear every day, so he didn't want to have anything to do with them. Looking at Chun Zhao's back, Irwin licked her lips. She was the perfect example of someone with an angel's face and demon's figure. However, her aura was too intimidating, so none of the men attracted by her looks dared to approach her. Chapter 231, Treasure Hunt in the Forest. Chapter 231, Treasure Hunt in the Forest. Irwin, why are you so late? Realizing that Irwin was back, Shalian lazily sat up straight on the sofa. Did you not bring any food back? Get up and get changed. We're leaving. Now? We've just moved here for a week, and we paid a month's rent. I met someone who knows us. We must leave now. Regardless of whether Qinzhao would call the police, they were not going to stay here any longer. It would be risky, after all. Given their profession, they could not allow even the slightest risk. Shailene quickly put on her clothes and packed her stuff. The two erased all traces of their presence, as if they had never been here before. Mr. Chun, it's going to be a full moon tonight. Be prepared. I'll go and fetch you later. Pierce South called Chunzhao. Actually, Chunzhao already knew where Treat Pimpton had hidden his treasure. The seal to the treasure had precisely been set by Winry Gargamel. Now that she had become Raymond's servant, Chunzhao knew everything about the seal. Therefore, as long as Pierce South did not attempt to do anything funny or betray Chunzhao, they would definitely be able to get the treasure. In the evening, Pierce South came. Chunzhao brought all his demon servants, except Amon, who was in the sea. When Pierce saw the entire family of pets squeeze into his car, his face was clearly written with question marks. Mr. Chun, why are you bringing so many pets? To ensure that you won't betray me and kill me after finding the treasure. But now I'm scared that you're the one who'll betray me. The silly twins, Walter and Abitos, all looked really fearsome. Bitten by any of them once and Pierce would probably be half dead. Pierce was himself a truly powerless wizard. He really regretted not bringing a gun. Mr. Pierce, actually you don't have to be so worried. I'm only planning to protect myself, not betray you. But I'm still scared. How? Our cooperation is based on mutual trust. You should trust me. Can I go back now and get a gun? Chunzhao sneered. Pierce immediately kept quiet and focused on driving. Actually, Pierce chose to cooperate with Chunzhao precisely because he trusted Chunzhao. After all, Chunzhao had distributed 10 million worth of gold to the residents of the town. This was the crucial factor which had led to Pierce's decision. Of course, the treasure they were looking for now was worth a few $1,000,000. Pierce could not guarantee that Chunzhao would not be blinded by greed after seeing the treasure. Just like how Pierce had been driving in worry, Chunzhao was also on his guard. This was their first cooperation. After all, they were more or less strangers to each other. Treat had hidden his treasure very deep in the mountain. Indeed, it was in an extremely isolated place. The car stopped before the mountain. The two had to climb the mountain on foot. Mr. Chun, I heard that you're planning to build a villa beside Mirror Lake, right? Yes. Is that why you need money so urgently now? Kind of. While Chunzhao already had enough money for the villa, a house alone was clearly not enough. He needed more money in order to maintain a high quality of life. How about you? Are you taking this risk also because you need money urgently? Chunzhao asked. It's for my company. My company needs more money, so I have to come here. Puff, you're really fit. Are Eastern sorcerers also fit? You just have to exercise more often. Chunzhao rolled his eyes. Unlike in a novel, sorcerers did not have to be physically weak. It was just like how an excellent student could be physically strong too. After walking for a while, Pierce felt that it was about time he had to start a conversation. I have a wife. Yes. Most people only have one. I also have a kid. So when you're about to betray me, can you think about my family and not kill me? It was very difficult to climb the mountain. Sometimes there was not even a proper path. Before they started the journey, they had already prepared some equipment, such as hiking boots, a rope, and a mattock. Despite so, Pierce still found the journey tiring. Chunzhao, on the other hand, found it much easier. He was very fit. In fact, Chunzhao would be fine unless the environment was really, really bad. How far away are we from our destination? Chunzhao asked. Although Winry had told him the rough location, it was his first time going there. He did not know exactly where it was. Furthermore, given that the place was so far in the mountain forest, even Winry could not pinpoint its exact location. Maybe over 10 kilometers. 2 more hills, I think, Pierce said. Can you still walk? I don't have a choice. We have to get there before midnight, Pierce said, panting. Otherwise, we need to wait for the next full moon. Do you need me to carry you? Pierce was overjoyed. Can you? I can carry you for 1 kilometer, and you must give me one of the items you choose later. Chun Zhao smiled. Pierce rolled his eyes. Forget it. I can still walk. Chun Zhao was still quite energized, but it was really difficult to walk on the mountain. The path was sometimes slippery. Even Chun Zhao could not maintain his stability. On the other hand, the silly twins, Walter, Beelzebub, and the rest had a much easier time. They jumped up and down the uneven surface as if it was flat. Even Abitos was a speedy boy in the forest. He would occasionally have a 100-meter sprint, swinging his large tail along the way. The two humans encountered many obstacles, as though they were on a journey to another country. They had left at around 5, thinking that 7 hours was ample time. After they entered the mountain, they realized that the schedule was much tighter than they had thought. In particular, Pierce did not have enough stamina. In the end, Chun Zhao had to carry him and finish the last part of their journey. Finally, they reached their destination at 11:30 p.m. It was a cave hidden deep in the mountain. High, humid, and isolated, the place was enveloped in an uncomfortable and stressful atmosphere. The trees above them blocked the moonlight completely, amplifying the darkness of the cave. Panting heavily, Pierce sat on the ground and could not get up. It's indeed here. It was apparently not Pierce's first time here. At least he knew the way quite well. While Chen Zhao knew the rough location, he might not have found the place so easily among the thick forests and monotonous mountains. You can only find this cave during a full moon, Pierce explained. Actually, Winry had told Chen Zhao about it too. He even knew exactly what was going to happen next. Chapter 232, Dangerous Cave. Chapter 232, Dangerous Cave. To make it sound more fantastical, there was a magic array outside the cave. It had to absorb moon essence during a full moon to open the cave. The two put on hard hats with a light hanging from it. Otherwise, with their very human vision, they'd probably knock their brains out in the pitch-black cave. Did you bring magical phosphor? Chun Zhao asked. Yes, Pierce said. As a wizard, I have to have some on me. Sprinkle some in the front, Chun Zhao said. Why? Just do it. Stop asking so many questions. There were mayflies all over the place. They'd come from hell and were trapped here by magic. They weren't lethal, but if they latched onto someone, they could cast some spells. For example, they could cause insufferable itchiness or pain somewhere. However, these hell mayflies could only survive in damp environments and went to the light. On a full moon night, they would gather at the entrance but not leave the cave. It was difficult to see them with the naked eye. Pierce took out a bag of magical phosphor. Grabbing some, he asked, "Where should I sprinkle it?" The entrance. Ignite it directly. Pierce sprinkled the phosphor with a bit of magical power to ignite it. Next, he and Chen Zhao saw countless specks of light swarming toward the magical phosphor's flame. These lights were extremely fast, like moths going toward the light. What are these? Hell mayflies, Chen Zhao said. It was actually his first time seeing them too. However, he'd heard Winry mention them before, so he wasn't too surprised. He'd been in hell before, after all, and had seen more impressive things. These mayflies weren't strange to him. Chun, you seem to know this place better than me. Something charged out of the depths of the cave. Careful. Chun Zhao pushed Pierce aside. It was a greyhound. However, this one had patches of fur missing. There were red scabs all over the skin too. It seemed to have some infection. Walter immediately went up to the greyhound. He was twice the size of this dog. The greyhound clearly wasn't in a normal state. Who knew how long it had been in here? It still understood basic differences of strength though. When it saw Walter, it immediately surrendered and ran. Walter chased right after it. The silly twins and Abitos also charged deep into the cave. This cave isn't a straight path, Pierce said. Aren't you afraid they'll get lost? Don't worry, they can find the way, Chen Zhao said easily. Let's go in too. A few steps later, they saw two greyhounds on the ground. Walter and the others must have killed them. You're smart to bring your pets. If it was just the two of us, it wouldn't have been so easy. Just then, A black shadow attacked Pierce's back. Qin Zhao had sharp eyes and reaction speed. He pulled Pierce aside while kicking the black shadow away. It was another greyhound. Qin Zhao's kick was so powerful that he killed the hound just like that. What do these greyhounds eat to survive in here? Zombie spores, Qin Zhao answered. What zombie spores? The thing growing where your hand is. Pierce's hand flew back. He clapped his hands hard. Looking at the wall, he saw some fungus-looking things. They were slippery to the touch. If they enter your body, you'll basically turn into those zombies in movies. Pierce kept wiping his hands on his clothes. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Will I get infected by touching it just then? It's not that scary. You'll only get infected if you eat it, or it touches your wounds. If those dogs run out, will they cause a biological crisis? Horror filled Pierce's face. He was probably imagining some movie scenes. No, they're not contagious. The dogs can't survive outside either. They'll die under the sun like vampires. You're not scared about this at all? Pierce asked. Please, you're a wizard. Can you not be so embarrassing? I feel like a normal person compared to you. Qin Zhao had witnessed and experienced many things before. This was nothing. 2 spots of red light appeared right before them. And what's that? Pierce hid behind Qin Zhao. It's okay. It's my pet, Abitos. Pierce shone his light over and saw Abitos sprawled on a greyhound's corpse. He was chomping on it. The zombie spore-infected greyhound was already scary enough. Now that it was a bloody mess, it was even gorier. Won't your pet get infected by eating the infected greyhound's corpse? No, this is just a snack to Abitos, Qin Zhao said. After all, Abitos was a superior demon with the bloodlines of the dragon and glutton. Nothing could live in its burning blood. The zombie spores weren't advanced beings either. They were basically just parasitic spores that the human world had too. The way was lined with greyhound corpses. No one knew how many dogs Treat had put in here. However, to Pierce, Qin Zhao's pets were the more terrifying ones. They weren't scared of these zombie dogs at all. Even the smallest Carrie and Beelzebub were killing their brethren. Many of the ravaged bodies they saw along the way were clearly the works of the silly twins. Only their size and strength could snap a zombie dog in half with one bite. Pierce felt like Qin Zhao had an army of monsters instead of pets. Woof, woof. Qin Zhao and Pierce heard White Ma's bark just then. Of course, Pierce couldn't tell which dog it was, but Qin Zhao could. Come here. White Ma found it. Found what? What do you think? Our goal this time, Treat's treasures. Chapter 233, The Safe. Chapter 233, The Safe. When the two entered the depth of the cave, they saw a safe which they estimated to weigh a ton. Without a doubt, it was the goal of their journey. A safe? Do you know the password? Qin Zhao asked. No. Why would I know the password? Then let's pry it open, Qin Zhao suggested. Will the mattock work? Qin Zhao took the mattock and tried to open the safe. However, the mattock broke straight away. It was clearly impossible to open the safe with a mattock. It was even more impossible to carry the safe back, since it weighed at least 1 ton. Even if Qin Zhao could carry it out of the cave, he would not be able to walk so many kilometers across the mountains with it. The only other option was to carry it back with a helicopter, which was also impractical at the moment. All in all, they had to attempt to open the safe on the spot and then share the treasure. Qin Zhao tried and confirmed the safe's outstanding quality. Even with his incredible strength, the safe did not shift an inch. It was not made from normal iron, but rather alloy steel. Even a bomb might not be able to blast it open. Do you have any idea? Qin Zhao asked. I can try, but I'm not sure if it'll work. Pierce walked up and placed his hand on the safe. Then, many white, fluorescent tentacles extended from the back of his hand. Having no physical form, the fluorescent tentacles entered the safe without difficulty. After a while, the tentacles disappeared and Pierce withdrew his hand. Qin Zhao asked, How is it? Pierce shook his head. The safe's mechanism is too complicated. My spell's sensory tentacles disappeared before I can understand it. Suddenly, Chen Zhao's right arm began to act funnily again. He felt the mouth of Glutton open. Normally, this would only happen when there was something threatening Chen Zhao or something delicious. Chen Zhao could not sense any danger, so there was only one possibility. There was something in the safe that the mouth of Glutton wanted to eat. Without warning, Chen Zhao's right arm lifted up. It was not Chen Zhao's intention, of course, but rather that of the mouth. Chun, what are you doing? Pierce was puzzled. All of a sudden, Chen Zhao's hand enlarged. Then, a gap appeared on his hand and bit onto a corner of the safe. Crack! The corner was torn off by the mouth, after which it started to chew the alloy steel. What spell is this? With Pierce's understanding of sorcery, he obviously had no idea what it was. He thought it was some kind of spell. Nonetheless, it looked really powerful. The mouth of Glutton had torn off at least 10 kilograms of alloy steel. Chen Zhao was speechless. He was now determined to learn how to control the mouth once he got back. He could no longer tolerate it to be so disobedient and appear when it wanted. This time, it was fine, since Pierce was also a wizard. Although his combat power was probably non-existent, he had at least seen supernatural occurrences. However, if the mouth of Glutton was exposed in public, it would be terribly troublesome. Clearly, Chen Zhao could not explain it by saying that it was magic. Pierce was amused by Chen Zhao's spell, while Chen Zhao could not explain his problem. Just then, the mouth of Glutton, which had finished grinding the steel, opened and bit another piece from the safe. Chen Zhao felt his right arm grow heavier, but only slightly. Perhaps the mouth of Glutton just wants to eat the safe itself, instead of its contents. Chen Zhao touched his right arm. It felt somewhat metallic. Is the mouth absorbing the properties of the steel alloy? After taking 2 more bites, the mouth seemed to be full. Then, Chen Zhao's right arm restored to its original state. The mouth had eaten at least 100 kilograms of the safe. The safe was also open since 1/3 of its door was now missing. Pierce took out all the things from the safe. To be honest, there was quite a lot of stuff. Among them, a very special painting managed to attract Chen Zhao's attention. It was stored like how ancient Chinese paintings were usually preserved. Its 2 ends were framed in rare rosewood and then rolled up. It was also covered in plastic to prevent it from getting wet. Chen Zhao removed the cover and unrolled the painting. It was a splash ink landscape painting with the inscription Wanlan Shanjing, which could mean Wanlan Mountain View. Wanlan Shanjing? Is this the name of the place or the painter? Chen Zhao had never heard such a painter before and also did not know whether the painting had any value. Nevertheless, judging from the texture of the painting, it should be quite an antique. Are you going to pick this painting? Pierce asked. Chen Zhao thought about it. All right, the painting it is. Then I'll pick one too. This. Pierce took an antique pocket watch. I want this. Chen Zhao picked up a book, which was supposed to be a diary according to its cover. Its pages were already yellowish-black. Chen Zhao only had one standard. Pick whatever that looks old. The 2 took turns to take their trophies from the pile in silence. There were over 30 items in the collection. Both of them took more than 15, but there was one left. The 2 played rock, paper, scissors, and Chen Zhao managed to get the last item. As for who earned more, Chen Zhao could not tell. He did not even know how valuable the things he had chosen were. The 2 put their prizes in their own bags, after which they headed back. After another few hours in the mountains, Chen Zhao and Pierce finally made it out. Chen, you're a great partner to cooperate with. Pierce could finally relax. Chen Zhao really did not intend to betray him. If Chen Zhao did, Pierce would probably have become his pet's feces by now. Actually, Chen Zhao had also been on guard, since it was their first cooperation. When he returned home, Fei Lai saw him covered in dirt and mud. Chen, how's the treasure hunt? Fei Lai knew that Chen Zhao had gone to look for treasure. Great, they're all here. Chen Zhao put his bag down. What are these? Fei Lai could not understand the value of the collection as well. I'll go and ask a professional later. Don't you need to sleep? You didn't sleep for the whole of last night, right? I still feel fine. Are you going to work? Yup. Clean Walter and the rest too. They're all dirty. There's even blood. Don't tell me they ate Pierce South. Fei Lai also knew that Chen Zhao was not that kind of person. She was merely joking with him. Of course not. I didn't want them to have diarrhea. Chapter 234, The Valuable and Valueless. Chapter 234, The Valuable and Valueless. Mr. Doman, I have a collection with me right now. I can't determine its value. Can you help me appraise them? Of course. Thinking a bit, Chen Zhao decided to keep the splash ink landscape painting. After his house was built, he could use it to decorate his bedroom. He would bring the other items to Mr. Doman for him to appraise. In the afternoon, Chen Zhao went to Mr. Doman's house early with the items. Seeing him pull so many things out of his bag, Mr. Doman was surprised. Mr. Chen, do you plan on selling these things? That's the plan. Mr. Doman started appraising each item. He first held up a piece of porcelain. It was a dish. Judging from the craftsmanship, it should be the bone china that British royalty used in mid-17th century. It's well-preserved and has a high market value. It should be around $100,000. This was a good start. Chen Zhao nodded. The most valuable porcelain should be from the Chinese Ming and Qing dynasty. The ones from Jingdezhen were renowned throughout the world. A complete, authentic piece could be worth more than millions in the antique market. Most foreign china was also imported from China, but at the end of the 16th century, the British invented bone china. After firing, the bone china's texture was completely different from Chinese porcelain. The latter was harder and with finer details. The patterns were more flowery. On the other hand, bone china felt softer. It had a gentle feeling like touching skin. When looking with a backlight, it would be more transparent the more bone powder it contained. More than 40% would have a semi-transparent texture. Next, Mr. Doman picked up the second item. It was a copper incense burner. Judging from the craftsmanship, this should be an incense burner used by Spanish nobles in the 13th century. There's a Spanish word here, Medina. The House of Medina Sidonia is one of the oldest Spanish noble families. I'll have to do radiocarbon detection to determine its exact age, so my conservative estimate is from $300,000 to $350,000. Hearing this price, Chen Zhao was overjoyed. The china that he'd had the most hope for was only $100,000, but this incense burner could actually be sold for more than $300,000. Mr. Doman picked up the ratty old notebook. Flipping through the pages, he said, "It's also in Spanish. It's a nautical diary from the 17th century. The writer is a sailor named Beja Cambris. It doesn't have much value." He placed the diary on the side and started appraising the next item. During this process, he put the valuable and valueless on either side. The most valuable was that incense burner, while the least valuable was a mirror. An item from the early 12th century with finer details, it was only $10,000. After finishing the last one, there were 12 items that had a certain or very high value, for didn't have any value or were very cheap. The 12 items ranged from $10,000 to $300,000. The total value was around $800,000 to $1 million. As for the other 4 items, Chen Zhao kept them himself. However, Mr. Doman's own appraisal wasn't enough if he wanted to sell the items. He had to go through a professional appraisal agency or have Mr. Doman's company provide a report. Mr. Doman was very professional, but his appraisal was only to provide a basis. He had an accuracy rate of above 80%. As for the final price, more appraisals had to be done. Chen Zhao agreed for Mr. Doman to take the items to his company for more detailed and scientific appraisals. They signed a preliminary contract. Chen Zhao mainly signed a collaboration agreement to ensure that this wasn't a dirty exchange. Mr. Doman also had priority acquisition power and paid $300,000 as a deposit. If other institutions or people had a higher bid, Chen Zhao could definitely sell to them, but he'd have to return the deposit with interest. Chen Zhao and Mr. Doman were friends, but they were both serious about the contract and collaboration. After finishing business, they began chatting. "Mr. Chen, when do you think Normans can finish the weight loss plan?" "Around 10 more days. You had her go from 308 pounds to 154 in 20 days, but it'll take 10 more days to go from 154 to 130. Mr. Doman, weight loss doesn't work like that. The weight loss before was fat and water content. Now, Norman's has very low BMI, so the effect isn't as obvious as before. Actually, I suggest that she go to do skin surgery now. Future weight loss will be easier. Running with all that flaccid skin now makes things harder. Norman's told me about this. She wants to do surgery when her weight is at a satisfactory level instead of now. It's not that big of a deal. If Norman's is willing to continue in her present state, I won't object. When Norman's performed surgery wasn't part of Chun Zhao's responsibilities. He didn't have to care even if she never did it. He was only responsible for her weight, not her looks. Afterward, Chun Zhao went to train Norman's. Norman's, your arms are still thick. We'll add more training for your arm. How? Boxing while jogging. Keep moving your legs while punching. Like this, keep doing it. The day's training started again. Norman's followed Chun Zhao's plans seriously. The boxing jogging lasted for half an hour. Then it was butterfly swimming. Chun, I plan on getting skin surgery. Do you have suggestions? No, but you'll get scars. If you want to get rid of the scars and recover as soon as possible, you can ask me. I can provide those services too. Asshole. Norman's gritted her teeth. I definitely won't let you do it. After the weight loss ends, I'll never give you another job. As you wish. Qin Zhao shrugged. Don't eat spicy food after surgery and don't touch water for 3 days. We'll take a break one day before the surgery. Why? This relaxes the muscles. If you exercise as intensely as today, your muscles will grow taut. After the surgery, your muscles might be in the wrong place. That'll be annoying. It's best if you get a massage to relax your muscles too. Chapter 235, Breeding. Chapter 235, Breeding. Hey Chun. Fei Lai realized that Qin Zhao had brought a few items back. Did you not manage to sell them? Sold most of them. These are valueless, so I brought them back. Chun Zhao threw the 4 items onto the table and then leaped toward Fei Lai. Chun, do you realize that Walter has grown bigger again? How heavy is he now? Have you measured it? Chun Zhao asked. I remember it's 65 kilograms the last time. Haven't weighed him recently. Walter, go take the electric scale and weigh yourself, Qin Zhao instructed. Waving his tail, Walter left and returned with the scale in his mouth. He placed it before Qin Zhao and Fei Lai and then stood on it. 78 kilograms, he's indeed much bigger. Qin Zhao was also surprised by Walter's growth. I didn't realize it earlier either. Today, I brought Walter to the HQ. The Coastal Rescue Team has bought 2 more adult German Shepherds, and I realized their difference. Qin Zhao gave a bitter smile. They obviously had a difference. A normal German Shepherd weighed 30 to 35 kilograms, and at most 40 kilograms. Walter was more than twice as heavy as a normal German Shepherd. Nevertheless, Walter was still smaller and lighter than the silly twins. Fei Lai did not compare him to the silly twins anyway. She had, after all, witnessed their extraordinary appearance. On the other hand, she still took Walter as a normal dog. Fei Lai also realized that Walter was becoming increasingly intelligent. Usually, even the smartest animal can only perform linear thinking instead of complex thinking. For example, after some training, a dog would stop, walk, sit, stand, or eat when being told. If he is told, however, that there is a car in front and he should stop later, he would not understand it, even if he could understand human language itself. Complex thinking exists mostly in primates such as monkeys. A small number of birds, dolphins, and whales also have high thinking complexity. Only with complex thinking can an animal learn how to use tools. For example, monkeys would use stones to crack the hard shells of nuts. Walter could similarly perform complex thinking. He was indeed very clever. What a smart boy. Chun Zhao rubbed Walter's head. Walter lowered his head in enjoyment, his face filled with a lazy expression. Seeing Walter's affectionate behavior, White Ma immediately jumped onto the sofa and also stuck his head into Fei Lai's arms. With a bitter smile, Fei Lai also stroked White Ma's hair. Chun Zhao widened his eyes at White Ma. If you dare to touch the sofa with your dirty paws again, I'll rip your skin off. White Ma withdrew his head in sadness and avoided Chun Zhao's stare. Fei Lai was like a mother trying to protect her child. He didn't do it on purpose. Why are you so fierce? Chun Zhao was really free for a few days. Gaia's boxing lesson had ended. Norman's was in the hospital, preparing for the operation. Chun Zhao had been going to Ethan's motel. Ethan had introduced him to 2 clients, one of which gave him 20,000. The other one was only 1,000. Chun Zhao was not a picky person. He would accept both big and small clients. Anyway, as long as he was free, he would accept any clients, provided he could earn at least his travel expenses. Chun Zhao also signed up for a driving course. He found it really troublesome to not have a driving license and a car. Hence, he planned to get his license as soon as possible and then buy a car. Chen, we're running out of dog food. Go to the supermarket and buy some when you're free, Fei Lai called Chen Zhao. When Chen Zhao went to the supermarket, he met a resident of the town. He recalled the person's name to be Dosa. That time, Chun Zhao had saved him from the fire ground. Dosa and his family had even visited Chen Zhao's house to thank him. However, Chun Zhao was not really close to them. In the whole town, the only family that Chun Zhao was close to was Bance. When Dosa saw Chun Zhao, he walked up and greeted, Chun, how are you doing? I'm fine. Thank you. Chun, can I discuss something with you? Dosa looked at the silly twins who were beside Chun Zhao. What? Black Ma and White Ma are male, right? Dosa clearly knew about them. After all, the silly twins had been treating the entire mountain town like a fun fair. Everyone in the town knew them. Moreover, Azina would sometimes bring them and bully the kids in the town. The silly twins had quite a bad reputation. Since they were much bigger than the dogs in town, it was hard for others to not recognize them. Yes, what? My Sarah is female. I want to breed her. Do you think White Ma and Black Ma are okay with it? Sorry, I can't agree to do that. I won't make decisions for them, Chun Zhao replied. The silly twins were demons, after all, not animals. Chun Zhao would clearly not treat them like ordinary dogs. A few neighbors have already asked me about this. If I agree to anyone at all, I need to agree to everyone. By then, everyone will come and it's too harmful to my pets. I can't agree. Chun Zhao's answer was logical and reasonable. Even humans would feel uncomfortable after having too much sex, not to mention animals. Dosa nodded. Actually, he did not have too much hope in the first place. He could not force it anyway since the dogs belonged to Chen Zhao. He was not in the position to demand anything. As for whether the silly twins would mate outside, Chun Zhao could not care. In any case, he would not ask them to breed. If the neighbor really wanted, he could bring his dog to the silly twins. Chun Zhao would not force them to do anything. When Chun Zhao left the supermarket, he realized that Leonardo's police car was parked right outside. Leonardo himself was sitting on a bench nearby, enjoying a beverage. Even though the place was extremely crowded, Leonardo still managed to spot Chun Zhao immediately. Actually, he saw the silly twins first. Apart from being huge, they were also carrying 2 packs of dog food each. They were difficult to ignore. Chun. Leonardo waved his hand. Chun Zhao petted the silly twins. Bring the dog food back and no stealing. If I discover that the dog food's opened when I get back, you can prepare to starve for the rest of the day. Chun Zhao sat beside Leonardo. You look pretty free. My shift's ending very soon. I'm waiting for it. Do you want to go to my house later? Fei Lai's almost back too, right? I won't be the third wheel. Leonardo was not insensitive. All right, we'll ask everyone out some other day for a drink together. Chapter 236, Cosplay. Chapter 236, Cosplay. At home. Chun, the coastal rescue team is short on people, Fei Lai said. Can you lend me Black Ma and White Ma for a few days? Why? Are there a lot of accidents recently? It's because of what happened that day, Failai complained. There are more tourists to Angel Beach and a lot go into the deep zone. We give out a lot of warnings, but we still can't stop those brainless tourists. They'll take any risk just to see 'em on. Some of them even pretend to be in danger because they think it can lure 'em on over. But instead of getting 'em on, me and the rest of the team are getting exhausted. Their features in the video from that night had been unclear because of the darkness, but it was still popular. Hundreds of thousands of people watched it every day. If you take them, they probably won't stay obediently at the beach. With how playful they are, they'll probably go collect coins everywhere. Woof. Master, we'll be good. Let us go. Master, I promise we'll save people. White Ma and Black Ma loved the beach and enthusiastic tourists too much. They could make money there and buy dog food with it. Then go, but remember what you said. Failai, if they don't listen and run around everywhere, remember to tell me. Woof, woof, woof. White Ma and Black Ma ran around the house in excitement. They could finally go to the beach again. Chris, what do you think? Sienna touched her chin as she looked at Cheryl. Chris shook her head. Doesn't stand out enough? Still? Cheryl was like these two women's puppet. Sienna and Chris kept making her wear weird clothes. She suspected that they did cosplay. Otherwise, why would they have so many weird things? This Western cowboy-style outfit just looks weird on Cheryl. How about we change the style? Cheryl is a werewolf, not a magician. The weirdest thing is having a werewolf dress like a magician. Just imagine seeing a werewolf in magician clothing fighting. Isn't that weird? Then what suits her? Can you two decide first and then make me try it on? I hate being moved around like this. Cheryl finally lost her temper. How do I know what suits you if you don't try it? There's this Catwoman bodysuit. Try it on. Do I have to wear the ears too? No, but try it with these shades. This outfit surprisingly suits her, Chris said, holding her chin with one hand crossed over her chest. I think it looks good too. Cheryl, try transforming now. I'm not a full werewolf. I can't transform at will. I can only do it at night, and I need calming medicine, or else I'll lose control like last time. Cheryl wasn't a pure werewolf, so there were conditions for her to transform. First, it had to be after the moon came out. If it was a cloudy day and the moon was covered, she wouldn't be able to change. If her bloodline was activated, she could then transform freely. But the way to activate her bloodline was by killing someone. Then you'll start acting with us tonight, Sienna said. To UCLA again? Chris asked. We didn't find any evil spirits last time. I feel like they aren't there anymore. After all, Chin expelled them all last time. Louder Brewster called me today, saying that there are commotions in the old campus again. No matter what, we're the special safety consultant of UCLA now. We have to work for our salary. Sienna placed importance on this official and steady job. Back then, she could only find 1 or 2 jobs around $1,000 each month and didn't try very hard. Most paranormal activities were because the client was being dramatic. This job was different, though. The biggest difference was the salary. She made $10,000 per month. Chris, as her assistant, had $6,000 too. This kind of money counted as being high income. Sienna would never let herself lose this job. Sienna, Chris, do I have to wear this outside? Cheryl felt embarrassed. The bodysuit was too tight. She was only 12 years old, but she was going through puberty again. Plus, she had a special bloodline, so her body looked more mature than her age. It's okay. It's night. No one will see. I think it's hard to use my skills like this. Your style is more important. Sienna and Chris didn't actually plan on letting 12-year-old Cheryl do anything dangerous. She had a special bloodline, but she was still a child to them. As for making her wear these weird costumes, it was just to satisfy their weird hobbies. White Ma, Black Ma called. You already took so many pictures. It's my turn now. You should stand on duty now. No, I only took pictures with 10 people. I barely have any money in my bucket. No, it's my turn. More people like me. I'll make more money. Black Ma bared his teeth, putting on a scary expression. No, more people like me. No, me. Then let's duel. We'll see who makes more money. I won't lose. Black Ma and White Ma both grew competitive. Who'll stand guard? Black Ma looked around. Walter, come here. Woof. Walter flew toward the silly twins. He was the most simple-minded one, waiting for his brother's orders with his tongue out. Woof, woof. Stay here and help us stand guard. Just then, there was a loud cry in the distance. A kayak had overturned. Someone's drowning. The lifeguard on the observatory deck cried while sounding the alert to the headquarters. Dozens of lifeguards rushed out immediately. They ran and jumped into the ocean. However, there were 3 faster creatures. White Ma, Black Ma, and Walter shot out like lightning. Chapter 237, Stars of the Beach. Chapter 237, Stars of the Beach. They were extremely fast, indeed much faster than the other lifeguards. Even the fastest sprinter probably could not reach their speed. The 3 of them leaped into the sea directly. Perry and his wife Ackley had come to Angel Beach in search of the legendary killer whale. Their kids, 5-year-old Jack and 8-year-old Ash, really wanted to meet him. Therefore, they rented a kayak and set sail. After they left the shallow zone, however, a huge wave turned their kayak over. Perry was the only one in the family who could swim. In his panic, he saw Ackley struggling on the surface of the sea. Perry immediately swam over to save his wife. However, Ackley grabbed onto Perry in fear, dragging him into the water too. Ackley, calm down, barf. Perry was not a very good swimmer himself. The raging currents and his wife made the situation worse. To his further dismay, he could not see his kids. Cough, cough. Perry swallowed another mouthful of seawater. Ackley, calm down. Suddenly, he saw a black shadow approach him from the distance. Perry was first shocked out of his wits, thinking that it was some kind of sea monster. When the shadow came closer, he realized that it was a giant dog. No, in fact, there were 3 dogs. Walter was the fastest swimmer among the 3. He was the first to reach Perry and Ackley. Woof! Walter barked at Perry and Ackley, who held on to him at once. Apart from his unusually large body, Walter was also wearing a dog life jacket, so he could withstand the weight of 2 more humans. Wait, don't leave. My son and daughter are still here, Perry shouted. Woof! Walter barked at Black Ma and White Ma. They immediately disappeared into the sea, as if they were fish. After a while, they resurfaced again, each carrying a kid on their back. The 2 children had been struggling in the sea for less than a minute, so they were more or less uninjured. Very soon, they woke up. Realizing that they were sitting on Black Ma and White Ma, they were energized right away. By then, the other lifeguards also arrived. One of them approached Black Ma, wanting to carry Jack off his back. After all, Black Ma and White Ma were not wearing life jackets. The lifeguards were worried that the kids were too heavy for them. However, Jack placed his arms firmly around Black Ma's neck and shouted, "No, I'm not coming down. Doggy will protect me." The lifeguard was speechless. He stayed close to Black Ma as they swam back. Finally, Black Ma and White Ma reached the shore. The kids on their backs were still unwilling to leave. The tourists around them took out their phones and recorded the scene. "Mom, I want to ride the big dog too," an innocent child said, pointing at White Ma and Black Ma. To be honest, Black Ma and White Ma were really quite attractive. Despite being fools on the inside, they were still 2 cool and proud wolves. Perry and Ackley finally carried their children from the silly twins. The 2 kids were still pretty hesitant. However, more children had already pounced on the silly twins, fighting to go onto their backs. Given that the silly twins had just saved 2 drowning kids, the tourists all believed that these 2 huge dogs would not harm their own children. While Walter was not as popular as the silly twins, he was liked by many as well. However, Walter was clearly more loyal to his duty. He continued to lie below the lifeguard's stand and stare attentively at the sea, protecting the safety of the tourists. Black Ma and White Ma, on the other hand, were drowning in the happiness of their pay-to-photo mode. Phalai had even written on their money buckets the line, "Please pay to take a photo." Both adults and children alike were more than willing to take a photo with the two giant dogs. Many children liked to climb onto their backs for a night experience. More unbelievably, the silly twins actually caught a thief on the beach. There were always bad guys on the beach. They would target those tourists who were sunbathing with their wallets and phones not too close to them. When Black Ma and White Ma saw the thief, they leaped onto him and pressed him onto the ground. By the time Fei Lai brought Black Ma, White Ma, and Walter home, Chen Zhao was already back. Chen Zhao was preparing dinner. He saw the silly twins and the buckets around their necks. Huh, looks like you've had a rewarding day. That's a lot of notes, Chen Zhao said as he stir-fried a dish. Normally, the silly twins would receive mostly coins. Even if their buckets were filled to the brim, it might only be $10 or $20. However, Chen Zhao realized that this time, there were many notes in their buckets. There were $1 notes and even $10 notes. They found a way to earn money, Fei Lai said, smiling. What? Taking photos with kids on their backs. At least $1 per photo. Did you come up with this? They did. They saved 2 kids today who rode on their backs. After that, almost all the kids on the beach followed them for the whole afternoon. Go and shower. It's about dinner time. Chen Zhao was not saying this to Fei Lai, but rather to Walter and the silly twins. He had been showering with Fei Lai. When Chen Zhao brought the dishes to the dining room, his phone rang. It was Mr. Doman. Chen Zhao picked it up. Hi, Mr. Doman. Mr. Chen, we've finished appraising your items. I'm sending you the report. According to our estimation, their values should be about 20% higher than what I told you. Sure, thank you. Please deduct the appraisal fees from the sale of the items. Of course. By the way, can you come over tomorrow? Didn't we sign the contract already? Do I need to sign it again? No, it's for Norman's. What happened? She's already done her skin-tightening surgery, but her body's now covered in scars. She's been complaining that if she knew about it earlier, she would not have lost weight. Mr. Doman, what do you need me to do? Help me to comfort Norman's. If possible, I hope that you can remove the scars on her body. I suggested it to Norman's that day, but she rejected. I believe she'll accept it now, Mr. Doman said. Okay, I'll be there tomorrow. Chapter 238, Scar Removal. Chapter 238, Scar Removal. At 10 in the morning, Chen Zhao went to Mr. Doman's house. Good morning, Mr. Doman. Morning. He handed Chen Zhao a check. Chen, this is the money for your collection. This is a supplementary contract. The collection will be auctioned in the spring. If the final bid is 50% higher than what you sold it to me for, I will give you 10% of the additional profit. These supplementary contracts were common in the art market. The original owner would sell the items to an auction company. If the company auctioned it off for a very high price, the original owner obviously wouldn't be happy. He could sue the company, thinking that they'd scammed him. These conflicts were annoying and really tainted the auction industry's reputation. Now, the companies would all sign a supplementary contract after buying the items. This way, everyone was happy and no one would cause trouble. Chen Zhao accepted the check. It was $1 million. With the $300,000 in deposit, he'd made $1,300,000 in total. He was quite satisfied with this profit. He'd also checked the prices of similar items online. Mr. Doman's prices were pretty fair. Mr. Chen, do you have a way to heal the scars on Norman's body?
Yes.
Chen Zhao nodded. Usually, surgery wounds were difficult to heal. Many people would cover it up with makeup or clothing. Using laser was another option, but it wouldn't recover completely. Laser recovery turned the scar into a thin line, but it was still obvious. These scars would never heal completely. It would follow the person for life. I'll pay you $100,000 for you to remove Norman's scars. I can do it, but I don't need the money, Chen Zhao said. Mr. Doman hadn't charged him for the appraisal, so Chen Zhao had to repay him. Usually, art pieces and vintage collections had an appraisal fee of around 5%. Mr. Doman was also a businessman. Since he could appraise the items for free, Qin Zhao couldn't be so nitpicky either. When Qian Zhao opened Norman's bedroom door, she was sitting in front of the window in her bra. She'd returned to the peak of her looks now. Her figure was still plump, but it didn't look bad at all. After the skin surgery, her skin was thinner and finer than before. Qin Zhao could even see the blood vessels under her skin. He didn't know if Norman's had decided to get a boob job too. He didn't find her breasts to be so obvious before her surgery. Now, they looked quite proud. When Qian Zhao came in, Norman's expression darkened immediately. "Don't you know how to knock?" "I'm your coach," Qin Zhao said, chuckling. "I have the right to see you whenever I want. I don't need you anymore." "That's not up to you." Qin Zhao shook his head. "You're only done when I say you are. I'm not in the mood to fight, but I'm in the mood to talk to you about this. Stop annoying me." "Your dad invited me over to help you remove the scars," Qin Zhao said. "I asked the doctor. He said that these scars can never be removed completely." "Oh, I see. I accepted $1 million from your dad. We also agreed that whether you accept the treatment or not, I won't return the money." Qin Zhao shook his check in front of her face. Norman's expression grew furious. "You scammer. That's robbery." "When did I scam you? You're the one who doesn't want my service. How can you blame me?" "What will you do if you fail to get rid of the scars?" "If the treatment fails," Qin Zhao said, "that'll be my own problem." "Okay, when do we start?" "We can start now," Qin Zhao answered. "What do I do?" "Strip and lie down." "Strip? You asshole. You want to do perverted things, don't you?" "Please, it's not like I've never seen you naked. There's no point in freaking out. You've changed into your swimsuit so many times these days too." "It's different now," Norman said, face red. "You think you've changed because you got rid of some chunks of fat?" Qin Zhao rolled his eyes. Norman's glared at him. In the end, she took off her bra and walked to Qin Zhao, arms over her chest. "What now?" "Lie down." Qin Zhao rolled his eyes again. Norman's cheeks were as red as apples. Naked, she lay down before the man. This made her entire body heat up. She started feeling a man's hand caressing her stomach. "Hey, stop lusting. Change to your back." "Huh? You haven't had sex in a long time, huh?" Norman's clenched her jaw. "You asshole. Stop wasting time. We're all busy." Norman's had surgery in many places. Arms, stomach, thighs, but armpits, neck, and back. Some places were more sensitive and private places, so she had to strip naked. Qin Zhao wasn't interested, though. He could distinguish between patients and women. However, it felt different to Norman's. Qin Zhao's hand sent ripples throughout her. "Okay, put your clothes on," Qin Zhao said, standing up. "Huh, you're done?" Qin Zhao shot her a look. "You want me to apply ointment again?" Norman's glared at him and put on her clothes while gritting her teeth. "So that's it? If you feel like you need treatment again, you can call me." "What do you mean?" "Nothing. I'm leaving." Qin Zhao waved. Norman's was dazed the entire day. Ghosts of the touches from earlier stayed on her skin. At night, she was too heated and frustrated to sleep. Her finger grazed past her arm. Suddenly, she realized that the 20-centimeter scar on her arm had softened a lot more. She turned on the light to check her arm. The scar really had faded a lot. It wasn't just her arm either. All the scars had faded impressively. "That asshole really can do things," she muttered to herself through a clenched jaw. "It seems like he's not grabbing. He must be waiting for me to call him now." Chapter 239, Sister Next Door. Chapter 239, Sister Next Door. The next day, Norman's already called Qian Zhao. "When are you free?" "When do you need it?" "As soon as possible." "But you told me yesterday that you don't need me. Are you coming or not?" "Fine." When Qian Zhao entered Norman's room, she immediately removed all her clothes. The first thing that they would normally do upon seeing each other was to curse or mock the other person. However, they did not do that today. Instead, they started the main topic directly. Norman's kept silent until Qian Zhao finished the treatment. Then, She wore her white shirt and short skirt back on without any undergarments. Do you have anything else later? I'm going to the driving school to learn driving, Chen Zhao said, standing up. Norman's asked again, how long will it take for my scars to disappear entirely? About a week. Will you be coming every day? No, maybe once every 2 or 3 days. Chen Zhao packed his stuff, ready to leave. Chun, Norman's called. What? Forget it. You can scram now. What an idiot. Mr. John, your son can be discharged now. After 3 days of observation, we can confirm that the tumor in his brain has shrunk to 20% of its original size, and it is still shrinking. It will no longer threaten his life now. With this rate, he'll recover fully in 3 to 5 months. Forgave John the report. John looked at the medical report. It is a common saying that prolonged illness turns a patient into a good doctor. Since John Jr. was diagnosed, John Sr. had been reading his reports. Now, he knew exactly what each of the numbers on the report meant. Dr. 4, thank you. Can I thank that person myself? John could hardly contain his excitement. He had placed all his hopes on John Jr. He had watched his son grow day by day, and then weaken day by day. His son even almost died before his very eyes. John had been having a stressful and trying time. Today, he received the best news in his entire life. Mr. John, have you forgotten our agreement? I didn't heal little John. Neither did anyone. It was God who healed your son. For stared at John with a serious look. I only want to thank him. I don't have any other. Mr. John? All right. Although John did not manage to thank that doctor personally, he was still overjoyed. When John brought his son home, his housekeeper walked up and said, Mr. John, Mr. Risfar has been waiting for you in the living room for quite a while. Okay, tell him that I'll be right there. Even the housekeeper could tell John's delight. Koi, ask Danny to play with you. I need to go and see Uncle Risfar. Okay, Dad. In the living room, Risfar was surprised to see John with a rejuvenated smile. Risfar, long time no see. When did you come to the States? The two of them hugged each other briefly. Just yesterday. John, you look really happy. I heard that Koi's condition has worsened, but your face says otherwise. Koi's recovered. He's been discharged. Recovered? He had tumor resection? Risfar asked in surprise. Haha. Anyway, he's fine now. Laura came with me too. Can you tell me who Koi's doctor is? As you know, Laura's condition is probably the same as Koi's. John looked very hesitant. Before he left the hospital with Koi, he had promised Four to keep it a secret. However, Risfar's question put him in a difficult position. Laura was his younger sister. Risfar was also his good friend in college. Laura knew Risfar precisely because of John. Laura and John Jr. were diagnosed with brain tumors at almost the same time. Laura's condition was slightly less severe, but she had encountered several dangerous episodes too. There was no way John could reject Risfar's request. John, why are you so reluctant? Don't you want Laura to recover too? She's your own sister. Risfar was clearly enraged. He did not know what John was hesitating for. Risfar, actually, Koi wasn't healed by surgery. What do you mean? In fact, John told Risfar the entire story. I'm also unsure who the real doctor is. I promised doctor. For that I won't talk about it again, but now I've broken my promise on the same day. Risfar was unconcerned about John's promise. He only wanted to know how John Jr. had managed to recover. Which means doctor, for knows who treated your son, right? Risfar, don't act harshly. Doctor, Four saved Koi's life. Of course I won't. Risfar seemed to be making a plan. When Risfar returned to his house in America, he had already received all the information about Chantilly Hospital and its doctors. Just then, two girls ran toward him. They were his twin daughters, Ronnie and Vera. Dad, where's Mom? Dad, where did Mommy go? They were only 3.5 years old. Laura was diagnosed with a brain tumor when she was pregnant with them. That time, Risfar suggested aborting the babies. With Laura's condition, it was too dangerous for her to give birth. However, Both Laura and their children were eventually safe. Risfar was also glad that they did not choose to abort their kids. Laura had brought him two more important ladies in his life. Nevertheless, Risfar still felt that his life was not perfect enough. After giving birth to Ronnie and Vera, Laura's health quickly deteriorated. She even suffered several severe comas. While she managed to wake up every time, her future was bleak. Risfar carried Ronnie and Vera with his arms. Mom has something to settle outside. She's coming back later. When will Mommy be back? Risfar could not answer their questions. He did not want them to see Laura being tortured by her illness. He was also unsure how long Laura had left. Didn't you want to play with Brother Koi? He went home today. I also miss Brother Koi. Then we'll go find Brother Koi tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow? Ronnie and Vera suddenly hesitated. Do you have something else tomorrow? Dad, can you bring Brother Koi here instead? Why? Because we've promised Faith that we'll go to her house tomorrow. Who's Faith? Faith lives door next. She's our little sister. Chapter 240. Your dog is so small. Chapter 240. Your dog is so small. Faith is right next door. You can go over whenever you want. No, we agreed with Faith to see whose dog is bigger. Risfar was speechless. A child's world was honestly impossible to understand. Just then, a black Doberman ran out. It was the same age as Ronnie and Vera, but it was already really big. Its name was Laffer. Its parents all had pure lineages, especially its father. It had won a gold medal at a world dog contest. Its mother was the largest Doberman in the world. Laffer was born with excellent genes. After maturing, its shoulder height was 80 centimeters tall, and it weighed 50 kilograms. It was already bigger than other adult Dobermans. It didn't have its mother's super height, but it was still a giant amongst giants. How big is that little Faith? You're bullying her. She's not one yet, but she said Laffer is tiny. I don't think so. Yeah. Laffer is the biggest and coolest. Risfar felt that this was just bullying. He planned on visiting his neighbors to apologize. After all, his kids should be the older sisters. They couldn't treat little kids like this. Ronnie and Vera took Laffer into the yard to play. Risfar saw through the floor-to-ceiling window that they jumped into the pool while Laffer stood on land, panicking. Laffer was scared of water. It hadn't experienced it before, so it was afraid. Whenever it saw the two kids playing in the water, Laffer would bark but never dared to jump in. The scene was laughable. This was another characteristic of Dobermans. They were friendly to humans. Actually, dogs all knew how to swim. It was a natural ability. Manus, find out for me who's living beside us. Mr. Risfar, there's no need. I've already checked before you moved in. Your neighbor is a playboy. He's CAA's stockholder, named Devin Dell. He's 28 years old. Risfar changed his outfit and went to visit his neighbor. After all, he didn't come just for Laura's condition. He also planned on entering the American market. He would live here for a long time, so socializing was necessary. At least, he hoped he wouldn't have a bad relationship with his neighbors. Risfar brought Ronnie and Vera along to the next-door neighbor. He rang the doorbell and a voice sounded from the machine. Who is it? Hello, is this Mr. Devin Dell? I'm Risfar. I just moved in next door, and I hope to become acquainted. Sure, the door's open. Please come in. Faith, don't put the corn snake in your mouth. You can't eat it. Mary, please help me watch her. Mr. Dell, please put the snake into the glass tank after you're done playing, Mary retorted. Don't toss it onto the sofa. Risfar grew nervous hearing that. He brought Ronnie and Vera into the manor. It was much smaller than his own, but the environment was nice. Just then, a tiny girl ran out of the mansion before him. She couldn't be more than 1 year old, but she ran like the wind and had a huge snake in her hands. A man chased after her. It was probably Devin Dell, along with Mary. Faith, don't run so fast. Slow down, be careful, you'll fall. Risfar was even more nervous. This girl wasn't the typical kind of strong. Ronnie, Vera. Faith saw them and immediately sped up. She clutched the snake as if offering up a gift. For you. The snake tried to escape from her hands, but Faith grabbed it tightly. Ronnie and Vera didn't dare to accept it. Thankfully, Dell and Mary ran over now. Faith, don't hurt the corn snake anymore. Don't you see how pitiful it looks? Risfar composed himself and looked at Dell. Hello, Mr. Dell. Hello, Mr. Risfar. Puppy, puppy, puppy. Faith suddenly called at Laugher. Come here. Faith waddled over, trying to grab Laugher, but the dog wriggled away and ran to Risfar's side. Mr. Dell, do you have a dog too? No. Dell shook his head. Your daughter seems to really like dogs. My friend has dogs. He brings his pets over when he visits and Faith always rides his dogs around. Are his dogs big? There are big and small ones. No wonder. Ronnie and Vera came home saying that Faith wants to compete whose dog is bigger tomorrow. Really? Dell turned around. Faith, you want to compete with Ronnie and Vera? But you don't have a dog. I don't, but Uncle does. White Ma, Black Ma, and Walter are mine. All mine. Your uncle might not be free tomorrow. It's okay. Can we steal Black Ma, White Ma, and Walter? But they might not be at home. Risfar waited patiently as the father and daughter spoke. Back then, he'd been immersed in these kinds of conversations too. Conversations with kids were filled with youthfulness and imagination. He could understand how Dell felt while talking to Faith. There was joy and warmth. Mr. Risfar, don't take kids seriously. There's nothing to compete over. It's true. Laugher is the third biggest Doberman in the world. It's truly unsuitable for kids to compete over. I'm afraid your daughters will feel hurt. You mean Laugher will lose? Of course. Your dog's named Laugher? He looks really small. I didn't think Mr. Risfar would like to raise small dogs. Laugher, small? I haven't seen a dog bigger than him yet. Then I guess you just haven't seen enough. My friend's 3 dogs are all bigger than Laugher. He'll just be a puppy before him. Then let's compare tomorrow. I hope you can find a dog bigger than Laugher. It had only been a joke between kids, but it ended up as a competition between 2 competitive adults. As for the 3 kids, they'd already started playing, ignoring the 2 glaring adults. It was like this had nothing to do with them. Chapter 241, Aston Martin. Chapter 241, Aston Martin. Chun Zhao finally received his driver's license. It was fairly easy to get one in the States. He had been practicing in the driving school for more than 50 hours to meet the course requirement. Apart from that, he was really a novice driver. The driving course was charged on an hourly basis, with the rate being a few dollars per hour. Hiring a coach in the driving school would cost $20 per hour. Of course, one could also choose to learn from any adult who had a driver's license. However, driving schools are mostly very materialistic. The more money you give them, the easier it will be for you to get your license. Moreover, since Chun Zhao only had a green card, it might even take longer. This could be anywhere between a month and half a year. He also had a written examination, which he passed on the first attempt. Actually, Chun Zhao had spent more time getting a road test. It was only his turn on the 5th day. He similarly passed it on the first try. After waiting for a week, he received his license. The first thing that came to his mind was to buy a car. David, are you free? Why? I want to buy a car. Okay, where are you now? Soon, David came to fetch Chun Zhao. Chun, what kind of car do you want to get? I want to buy one for Fei Lai first. Her car is too old. What kind of car should I give her? How much do you plan to spend? As long as it's not a few $1,000,000, I would say, Chun Zhao replied. Cars in America were considerably cheap. David was clearly more professional than Normans in this field. At least, he would recommend a rough-looking SUV to Chun Zhao. David suggested getting a sports car, which had a more feminine shape and appearance. He told Chun Zhao about various sports cars ranging from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands in cost. David was probably a car fan. While he might not be that professional, he was able to briefly analyze the advantages and disadvantages of various models based on their emission systems, motors, and performances. The very expensive models, even if you can afford them, do not suit Failai. Failai is a coastal lifeguard, so it may be somewhat awkward for her to drive a car that costs more than $1 million. I suggest getting one that's between $200,000 to $300,000. Cars which cost that much were already very high class. In fact, cars that cost more than $30,000 could already be considered as somewhat luxurious. Despite so, Chen Zhao felt that those cars were too ordinary for Failai. Chen Zhao was kind of an upstart. He thought that since he was going to give Failai a car, he should of course choose an excellent one. He also found the price of $200,000 to $300,000 quite reasonable. I recommend Aston Martin DB11 AMR, newest edition 2018. Chen Zhao used the internet to obtain photos of the model, as well as its official description. It could cost as low as $180,000, and no more than $250,000 even with the highest specs. Chen Zhao really liked the model and its price. As for the car's performance, he could not understand anything. Nevertheless, since it was recommended by David, it was probably great. I'll get this one. Chen Zhao made his decision. Shall we go to the store and take a look? Okay. Chen Zhao walked into the Aston Martin store. It was huge, with more than 10 different models on exhibit in the hall. Behind the store, there was also a giant test track. When Chen Zhao and David walked into the shop, a tall lady in business attire quickly approached them. Hi, I'm Polly's. How can I help you? We want to try the DB11 AMR. Do you have one here? Of course. Polly's eyes glowed. May I know which of you wishes to buy the car? It's me. We need to take a look first, David interrupted Chen Zhao. Polly's looked at Chen Zhao, her eyes glittering with passion. Since Chen Zhao was considering buying the DB11 AMR, he had to be very rich. What drink would you like to have? Just iced water. Me too. After Polly's gave them a cup of iced water each, she brought the two before the exhibited DB11 AMR. Then, she started to describe its various performances and functions endlessly. As the purchaser, Chen Zhao was soon completely lost, while David listened to her attentively, occasionally asking a question. We would like to go in and try it ourselves? Sure. Chen Zhao sat on the front passenger seat, while David sat in the driver's seat. To be honest, Chen Zhao did not have a solid concept about cars. A 10,000 car and a 100,000 car were both tools for him to travel. David was different. Buying a good car was almost a dream for him. After they left the car, Chen Zhao asked, Do you have a red one here? Do you want a red one? Excuse me for my bluntness, but I think that silver gray or blue suits you more. I'm giving it to my girlfriend. She likes red. Polly's could feel her body burning with envy. Why couldn't she get such an outstanding boyfriend too? Her own boyfriend only knew how to eat and sleep at home. He dreamed about becoming a huge star every day, but could only get small, almost insignificant, roles. Polly's really wanted to drag Chen Zhao into the restroom immediately. We indeed have a red one, but it has the highest specs. Okay, how much is it? $250,000. We can help you in loaning and insurance. The total cost will be around $259,000. You can skip the loaning part. Excuse me? I'll pay the full amount, Chen Zhao said. Polly's nodded gently. Then please follow me for the formalities. Mr. Chun, this is my name card. If you need anything, you can call me anytime. I'm at your service 24/7. Chen Zhao could understand the hidden meaning in the sentence. Smiling, he took the name card. Thank you. He had stopped messing with other women. If it was in the past, he would definitely not let this high-quality lady off. After paying the full price, Polly's only had to handle the insurance for Chen Zhao. The whole procedure took less than 20 minutes. Before long, Chen Zhao and David left in the car. Polly's stared at Chen Zhao's back with much resentment. David could not afford such a car, so he enjoyed himself in Chen Zhao's car. Oh yeah, I need to buy another car for myself, Chen Zhao said. What, another one? I told you that this car's for Failai. How much do you plan to spend for your own car? I'm getting an SUV. I only need it to be big enough. Do you not have any other requirements?
No.
Chun Zhao's requirement was easily satisfied by most SUVs. Chun Zhao bought a Ford SUV which cost $20,000, after which he asked David to drive the car back to his house. Now, Chun Zhao had to send the Aston Martin DB11 AMR to Fei Lai. Chapter 242, Gifting a Car. Chapter 242, Gifting a Car. Fei Lai, I'm on the highway beside the beach. Come out for a second. Huh, why are you at the beach? I miss you. A while later, Fei Lai walked over from the beach. She wore a swimsuit with a life vest. As part of the coastal rescue team, she had to be ready to go into the ocean for rescue at any moment, so she always wore the life vest when working. When she walked over, she was confused. Where was Chun Zhao? Didn't he say he was here? Why wasn't he here? Fei Lai called him. Chun, where are you? I'm here. Where? On the road? How come I don't see you? Do you see a red car parked there? Yeah. Fei Lai obviously saw a new sports car parked on the side. Look inside. Confused, Fei Lai turned to look. There seemed to be someone in there. And the person was waving at her? It was Chun? Fei Lai walked over quickly. Chun Zhao had already opened the door. Chun, how come you're in here? Why can't I be in the car? Whose is it? Yours. Stop joking. My gift for you. Huh. Fei Lai gaped at Chun Zhao with disbelief. Chun Zhao had never gifted her anything after they started dating. She never expected that his first gift would be a car. She obviously recognized the Aston Martin logo. The car had to be a few $100,000, right? Like it? Fei Lai already had her arms around Chun Zhao's neck. She pressed a kiss on his lips. Chun Zhao hugged Fei Lai's thin waist. Want to try? You drove it over? Yeah, but you don't have a license. I just got it. You've been practicing these past few days? Yeah. People always said that guys loved cars, but women actually loved cars more. Fei Lai impatiently got in. She tested the driver's seat that still had the scent of leather. She had to admit that her ratty old car couldn't compare to this new car's feeling. The smooth steering experience, the gentle arcs like the curves of a woman's body. Fei Lai had no reason not to fall in love with the car. When they went home, Fei Lai drove the new Aston Martin while Chun Zhao drove her old car. Chun Zhao kind of regretted buying her this sports car. Fei Lai had already transformed into a race car driver. The first time she tried it, Chun Zhao was sitting next to her. She slammed down on the gas pedal, and Chun Zhao's legs were weak when he got off. Thankfully, Fei Lai didn't drive too quickly on the way home. Chun Zhao followed behind her. Chun, we have a guest? Fei Lai saw another car parked on the side of the road. That's mine. What? You bought 2 cars today? Yes. Why didn't you buy yourself a better one? I usually have to bring white Ma, black Ma, and the others, so I need a bigger car. This one suits me better. But you buying such an expensive one for me makes me uncomfortable. We're a family. Don't say that. Chun Zhao only saw cars as a transportation tool. He didn't put too much love or dreams into it. To him, even the most expensive car was still only a car. There was a difference in value, but they were the same in essence. Some people loved houses, some people loved cars, and some loved both. That night, Fei Lai was more enthusiastic than before. It was like she wanted to repay Chun Zhao. But just as they were having sex, Chun Zhao's phone rang. He didn't want to answer, but it kept ringing. Take it, Fei Lai panted. It's so annoying. Chun Zhao unwillingly reached over and finally got the phone. Hello? Chun, help me out. It was Dell's voice. I'm busy. And don't you know that it's immoral to disturb people's rest? You sound out of breath, Dell said. Next time I go to your place, I'm going to stuff your head into the toilet, Chun Zhao said menacingly. Dell immediately shoved the phone at Faith, who said in her baby voice, Uncle Chun. Oh, Faithy, what's wrong? Uncle, can you help me win Ronnie and Vera? Sure. How can I help? Give me Black Ma and White Ma. Sure, no problem. When? Tomorrow. Sure. Good night, Faithy. Who is it? How come your voice changed? A girl? I knew it. I've seen her body before. You asshole, thinking of another woman's body when you're lying on me? She's not even 1 year old. I hate you. The next day, Chun Zhao brought the entire family. The back seat was very spacious. The back of the third row could be laid down to form a small platform. White Ma and Black Ma couldn't run around, but at least it was better than being stuffed inside Fei Lai's car. They could also open the skylight and stick their heads out. None of these bastards kept calm inside Chen Zhao's car. With a crash, the glass windows on both sides shattered. Black Ma, I saw you. This is a new car. New car. Chun Zhao stared at the rearview mirror, a bit angry. This car only cost $20,000, but it was still a new car. Even a rebellious kid wouldn't do this. If Chun Zhao was able, he would definitely beat them up now. Knowing that he'd made a mistake, Black Ma finally grew more obedient. The car reached Dell's home. Seeing the unfamiliar car, Dell thought it was some stranger. When Black Ma stuck his head out of the broken window, Dell recognized him immediately. He went to open the gates so the car could come through. Chun, when did you buy a car? If you need one, I can gift you one. This model is too low standard. Please, it's not like I haven't seen your cars before. You only have sports cars. None of them can fit Black Ma and White Ma. Chun Zhao pointed at the windows. Plus, it'll definitely be more expensive and annoying to replace a sports car's windows. Uncle Chun, you're here. Faith ran out like a puppy, but she couldn't keep her balance at all. When she reached Chen Zhao, he caught her. Ever since you healed her eyes, Dell said, she seemed to have gotten smarter. She even learned how to speak quickly. Yeah. Chen Zhao wasn't sure if the pristine eyeballs had caused this. Technically, they wouldn't cause any changes to humans. However, Faith had really become smarter. She went from baby talk to being able to communicate in 2 weeks. Earlier, Dell had worried that something had happened to Faith, so he called Chun Zhao over for a checkup. He didn't find any problems. Faith was very healthy. As for becoming smarter, it wasn't a bad thing. Oh, right. Where did Sura go these days? I haven't seen her. Chapter 243. How are they dogs? Chapter 243. How are they dogs? We broke up. No, we divorced, to be accurate. Why? This isn't the life that she wants, Dell said, looking at Faith. To be honest, Dell had really changed a lot after adopting Faith. He was more responsible, to say the least. On the other hand, Chun Zhao found Sura extremely playful and daring. When she was with Dell, she had tried almost everything with him. Chun Zhao had to say that Sura was truly the definition of easy virtue. Of course, as her boyfriend, Dell was not much better than herself in the past either. Suddenly, they heard Mary scream from the house. What happened? Chen Zhao and Dell immediately ran into the living room. Mary, what happened? Chin, your snake, your snake. Chen Zhao and Dell turned their heads and saw Raymond trying to eat the corn snake. A section of its tail was already in Raymond's mouth. Raymond had been growing rapidly. The once finger-thick snake was now like a small python. Although the corn snake was from the real python family, it was very tiny. It had indeed already reached its maximum size. The corn snake, whose tail was in Raymond's mouth, struggled wildly, attempting to escape. Raymond, what are you doing? With his face darkened, Chun Zhao stepped onto Raymond's tail. Raymond spat the corn snake out at once. Then, he slithered under the sofa and disappeared. Asshole. Raymond had told Chen Zhao that he was merely trying to scare the corn snake. Dell was long used to Chen Zhao's extraordinary pets. They were all unusually intelligent. Actually, Dell had raised the corn snake hoping that it would be as smart as Raymond. In the end, its biggest use was to be Faith's pacifier. Whenever there were no adults around, Faith would grab the corn snake and stuff it into her mouth. Corn snakes are naturally docile and timid. They would rarely bite a person. When they are attacked, they will often run away. To humans, they are more or less harmless. I feel so sorry for White. Faith lifted the corn snake with some crocodile tears in her eyes. She had been constantly biting the corn snake as well. Luckily, she did not have teeth. Otherwise, the corn snake would have at least lost its skin by now. Raymond, Raymond. Faith climbed under the sofa and dragged Raymond out by force. Raymond was clearly unwilling to move. Stop scaring White, or I'll eat you. Then, Faith bit Raymond. Raymond could now very clearly experience the corn snake's feeling just now. He wanted to escape, but Faith grabbed him firmly, not giving him any chance to leave. Faith, bring Black Ma and White Ma to next door. Dell patted Faith's head. Faith slid down the sofa and threw the two snakes away. Then, she called Black Ma and White Ma and climbed onto White Ma's back. White Ma was very experienced in carrying children. As he ran around slowly, Faith could not feel any bumps. Under the guidance of Faith, the silly twins went to the adjacent manor. Sister Ronnie, Sister Vera, come here. Woof. Just then, Laffer ran out. When he saw the two giants before him, he stepped back in fear and barked wildly at them. Laffer was already very huge, but he was clearly much smaller than Black Ma and White Ma, who weighed 120 kilograms each. Woof, woof. The silly twins also roared at Laffer. The three dogs continued to bark at one another. They finally managed to attract Risfar from the house. When he saw the silly twins, he almost sat on the floor. How are they dogs? They're surely wolves. They were extremely large even for wolves. Most people who knew about dogs also knew about wolves. They could at least distinguish between the two. Black Ma and White Ma were over 3 meters long and also had a shoulder height of 1 meters. When they stood up, they could reach 3 meters in height. In addition, their soft fur made them look even bigger. With their sizes, they were already at the top of the terrestrial food chain. Very quickly, Risfar saw Faith, who was sitting on White Ma's back. He suddenly realized that these two wolves might just be what Faith had brought here to compare with Laffer. In this case, Laffer already lost. Laffer probably weighed only half as much as each of them, not to mention their other differences. Wow, these two doggies are huge. Ronnie and Vera also ran out from the house. They did not know what fear was. Clearly, they also did not know that these were wolves, not dogs. Risfar was about to stop his daughters from going any closer when White Ma already approached the two with Faith on his back. Then, White Ma lay on the ground so that Faith could slide down from his back. Sister Ronnie, Sister Vera. Look, these are my White Ma and Black Ma. They are huge, right? Ronnie and Vera turned their heads and looked at Laffer, who indeed appeared to be very small. There is no harm without comparison. With the silly twins around, Ronnie and Vera immediately disliked Laffer. Ronnie, Vera, they're wolves, Risfar said. Dad, what are wolves? Risfar really wanted to tell them that wolves would eat people. However, he could not say so before his two daughters and two wolves. Dad, we lost. Ronnie looked at Risfar. Dad, I want this kind of dog too. His fur is so soft. Risfar did not know what to do, or how he could get two wolves for them. It was not really because the silly twins were too big. In fact, even in the natural world, they were also wolves that could reach the size of Black Ma and White Ma. It was really because of their nature. Risfar did not even dare to let her daughters go close to a tamed wolf. Faith pointed her finger. Black Ma, help me bring my milk bottle here. Black Ma ran out of the manor. After a while, he returned with the bottle in his mouth. Surprise flashed across Risfar's eyes. He's very smart. If he could get wolves that were this intelligent, he would not mind keeping them as pets for his daughters. Faith, are these two dogs yours? Blinking her large eyes, Faith sucked her milk bottle and said in an innocent voice, They're both mine and Uncle Chen's. Are their names White Ma and Black Ma? Yes. How does your uncle train them? What's train? Risfar realized that Faith clearly could not understand what he was trying to say. Why are they so clever? They're this clever since the start, Faith replied confidently. Well, she still can't understand me. However, Faith added, Uncle, I know what you mean. Are you asking me how Uncle Chen usually teaches Black Ma and White Ma? Yes, do you know? Chapter 188. I can't control my right hand anymore. Chapter 188. I can't control my right hand anymore. I won't be able to defeat you? This is hell. I don't need to be stuck in that rotting body anymore, and my power won't be restricted by time. I've also eaten my souls here. I am completely different from before now. Confidence is good, but have you thought about what will happen if you lose? I won't lose. How about you turn around and ask for my friend's opinion? Your friend? Winry Gargamel suddenly felt a huge shadow loom over her. She turned around and saw the most horrifying and hopeless scene in both her previous and current life. She'd heard from the spirits that wandered the area that this huge snake before her now was the Lord, a terrible demon lord. Winry had once seen this demon from afar when she'd first fallen into hell. Whenever Raymond ate, he would swallow some spirits in the desert and leave when he was full. Whoever was eaten by him, well, that sucked for them. Whenever Raymond appeared, all the other spirits would hide from him. Let me introduce to you my friend, Raymond Stees. Qin Zhao smiled at Winry. Human, how should I punish her? I don't want to kill her yet. I have some questions to ask. Raymond spat out a mouthful of acid onto Winry. She immediately started screaming as smoke rose up from her body. She fell to the ground in pain. Are you sure this won't kill her? Qin Zhao asked with some regret while looking at Winry. This is how I store my food. My numbing poison will seal off her consciousness and she won't rot. It's like how you humans use refrigerators. Okay. Qin Zhao saw a 10-foot-tall figure beside Raymond. Of course, this figure was quite small compared to Raymond. This demon had brown skin, a bald head, long and sharp ears, and a pair of canines poking out of his mouth. He had the skin of an unknown beast on his back, while there were various slits on his bare skin. These slits were all eyelids, opening and closing. They were eyes. Qin Zhao counted. This demon had at least 100 eyes. Hello, are you the true visioner? Hello, living lord. I am the true visioner Laos, the demon said. His voice was weak. I'll check your body. While checking, Qin Zhao asked a few questions. Have you done anything special or ran into anything recently? Last time. I accidentally ate a mutant flower and was bedridden for a whole month, but that was half a year ago. Qin Zhao thought for a moment. Hell flowers were poisonous and harmful even to demons. What could a mutant flower cause? He wasn't sure. He had to do more research. He discovered that one eyeball on Laos' back was completely bloodshot. Laos, can you still see with this eye? That eye doesn't work anymore. Afterward, Qin Zhao discovered several eyes on Laos that had similar symptoms. He reached out and pressed the area around the eyes and finally found what was wrong. The capillaries on the eyes weren't capillaries at all. They were the roots of a plant. Qin Zhao took a stethoscope out and listened carefully to the inside of Laos' body. There's something living inside you, Qin Zhao said. Really? Can you do anything about it? It was common to have parasites in hell. The host and parasite would often live together because neither could do anything to the other. However, some parasites were more invasive and more harmful to the host. The parasite in Laos right now was obviously the more invasive and aggressive ones. If it couldn't be removed in time, Laos may be sucked dry by it. I need to operate on you and physically remove the parasite. You can do whatever necessary to remove that thing from me. One of the disabled eyes suddenly opened and shot a laser at Qin Zhao. His right hand went out of control. The mouth of Glutton on his palm opened and the ray shot into the mouth. Qin Zhao retreated hurriedly in fright. Laos, Raymond said, upset. Why did you attack the human? I didn't do that. I lost control of that eye long ago. That parasite has a mind, Qin Zhao analyzed. I think it sensed my intentions, so it attacked me. Laos, seal the eyes you can't control. Otherwise, the human can't do surgery. Okay, when I get that thing out, I'm going to rip it to shreds. It took a lot of effort to seal the uncontrollable eyes. Around 2 p.m., Qin Zhao and Del entered Risfar's manor. Mr. Risfar? Hello, Mr. Del. And this is? This is my friend, Chun. He's Black Ma and White Ma's owner. Oh, the dogs and Faith didn't cause any trouble, right? Del had some pride on his face, as if saying, "Ha, you lost, right? Ha, no. They're sleeping right now, and even ate a piece of steak." Risfar chuckled. The fight between them had been immature and childish. Whether he won or not, it wouldn't really affect their adult relationship. "Mr. Chun, I must admit that Black Ma and White Ma are the most intelligent dogs I've ever seen. You haven't seen his other pets?" Del pursed his lips, expressing that Risfar hadn't seen enough. "Mr. Chun, are you willing to leave them? I can pay $1 million to buy their ownership." "I'm sorry, Mr. Risfar. I'm afraid this is impossible." $2 million. "Mr. Risfar, let's change the topic," Chinzhao said. "Okay. I'm sorry for the offense." Risfar hadn't expected much. He knew Black Ma and White Ma's value, but he wouldn't spend more money than that to buy 2 dogs. "Mr. Chun, you seem to be skilled in beast training. Can you share your experiences with me? I wish to make Laffer smarter too." I don't really do much," Chinzhao said offhandedly. "I just kick them and hit them when they make a mistake." This was the same as what Faith had said. Risfar really believed it for a moment. Is that really effective? Chapter 245, Brand. Chapter 245, Brand. "First, you have to let them know what scolding is," Chinzhao added. It was clearly impossible. Risfar stopped asking about it, since Chinzhao was obviously unwilling to tell him. Chinzhao and Del brought Faith and the silly twins back. Risfar looked at the door, deep in thought. When Faith woke up in Del's arms, she saw Chinzhao looking at her. She immediately reached out for Chinzhao. "Uncle Chun, hug me." Chinzhao carried Faith in his arms. "You're awake. Uncle Chun, are you leaving?" "Yes." "Are Black Ma and White Ma leaving too?" "Yup. When will you come again?" "Actually, you can come to my house too." Faith turned her head and looked at Del. "Dad, can I go to Uncle Chin's place?" "Of course." Del clearly could not say no. "Chun, why don't you stay for a meal together?" "Nah, I still have something later." "Hi, Mr. Fellwood." When Chen Zhao arrived at the construction site outside Mirror Lake, Fellwood Cisco walked out with his helmet. As the owner of the company, Fellwood was very responsible. Indeed, he had been placing heavy emphasis on Chen Zhao's project. Whenever Chen Zhao came here, Fellwood was almost always present and supervising his team. Of course, maybe he was here only because his company did not have enough manpower. "Hi, Mr. Chun. How's the construction going?" "We've already added concrete and reinforcement to the foundation. Currently, we're intercepting the lake water outside the main building." Fellwood tried his best to explain to Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao knew why they had to intercept the lake. Because part of the building was designed to be in the lake itself, they had to block the water before they could build that part. "Mr. Chun, to be honest, the pH of the soil here is really bad. Many plants which we plan to grow probably can't survive." "Do you have any suggestion then?" "When we build the building, we'll be digging up a lot of silt from the lake. I can ask my workers to spread the silt in the surrounding region. The silt will make an excellent soil for plants, but it will only cover the area adjacent to the villa. Places further away will still look barren and monotonous. Then help me to dig more silt and cover a larger area, even if you need more money for it." "Mr. Chin, I'm happy to help you, but we have no right or capability to change the lake that much. Is there not a solution at all?" "There is. I've studied the geographical environment here. The river connected to Mirror Lake eventually flows into the Los Angeles Inland River, but it's too narrow for bigger ships. You can consider widening the river, which will allow for easier water transportation. If you have a yacht, this will allow it to come in too. You can also build a dock near the lake and ask for the silt in the river to be piled up here. My team can help you to spread the silt around the place." "According to your plan, I need to hire a water engineering team, right?" "Yes." "How much will that be?" "According to my estimate, dredging the river should cost around $300 for every 10 meters. It's about 25 kilometers from here to the inland river. 1 kilometer costs $30,000. so I need to spend about 750,000. Am I right? I know a water engineering company. I can help you to contact them, Felwood said. Also, I can get you the project at 500,000. Chun Zhao looked at Felwood. It was only 2/3 of the original cost. Do you have any requirements? Chun Zhao asked. I hope that my team can build the small dock too, Felwood said. How much does it cost to build a dock that can accommodate a yacht? 100,000. I need to ask about it. Chun Zhao had already made up his mind, but he did not know the market price. Therefore, he was going to ask a professional person if the price was reasonable. Of course. Felwood could tell that Chun Zhao would probably agree. He really understood Chun Zhao's mindset. Given that Chun Zhao was willing to spend more than $1 million to build a luxurious villa, he certainly had a harsh requirement on the environment. When he heard any flaws, he would surely be willing to spend more money to remedy them. Brewster found Smith's apartment. He realized that the door was open. He first knocked on the door. There was no response. Brewster pushed the door open. He was immediately greeted by a wave of pungent smell and piles of rubbish. Brewster frowned. He knew that Smith was not a tidy person, but he did not expect it to be so bad. Brewster shouted, Smith, are you there? It's me, Brewster. Smith looked very dispirited. His hair was messy, and he could not remember when was the last time he shaved his beard. His bloodshot eyes were further surrounded by deep, black patches. Smith, I heard that you've lost at soccer gambling, but you better not lose your job too. Brewster came here to warn Smith, whom he was very dissatisfied with. Smith looked dazed. He clenched his left fist firmly and began to tremble. Although Brewster was quite old, he was still 5 centimeters taller and also fatter than Smith. Hence, he was not scared at all. What? You want to punch me? Smith lifted his head and looked at Brewster. Suddenly, he smiled and extended his hand. No, I didn't mean it. I will go to work. That's much better. Brewster grabbed Smith's hand. However, he suddenly felt a sharp, burning sensation on his palm. Let go. Let go of me. Brewster struggled away from Smith's hand. He looked at his hand and realized there was a brand. The brand was circular, with a demon portrait in it. What did you do? What did you do to me? Smith stood still with a strange smile on his face. Brewster felt more and more uneasy. He turned around and ran away. Smith did not give chase. Brewster repeatedly pressed the elevator button in panic. Ding! The elevator door opened. Brewster quickly bolted in. The door closed and he heaved a sigh. Then, he immediately called Sienna. Hey, Before Brewster could speak properly, the elevator fell down. Hi, Mr. Brewster. Hello? What's wrong? Chapter 246, Cursed Coin. Chapter 246, Cursed Coin. Smith felt a change in his body. The scalding golden coin was embedded in his left palm. Thin blood vessels on the coin joined it to his hand. He didn't dare leave this room these past few days, because he finally realized what this coin was. It was a cursed coin, or the coin of fortune and misfortune. It could suck away someone's luck. The one who lost their luck would be entangled in misfortune and have an accident. The one who had the coin would receive the victim's luck, while the coin received the victim's soul. However, the first one to lose luck was the owner of the coin. Ever since Smith received the coin, he became its slave. Bad luck kept happening around him. When the first victim appeared, Smith finally received luck again. The more victims there were, the luckier he became. However, this wasn't endless. The cursed coin couldn't save too many souls at any given time. After a certain period, it had to release the souls. The souls who'd lost their luck and were killed by bad luck would never receive salvation. Even if they died because their luck was taken away, it still belonged to them. When they were expelled or purified, the luck that belonged to them would disappear as well. Last time Chen Zhao came, he expelled the evil spirits in the abandoned classroom. This caused Smith's luck to reach its lowest state. All sorts of trouble and danger started accompanying him. This also led to the worst result. He was possessed by the cursed coin. It started joining with his body. Of course, this meant he finally learned the coin's background. There were still some ancient souls in the coin. These ancient evil spirits badgered him, making him unable to sleep at night. When Bruce appeared before him again, he was filled with terror. Right now, Bruce appeared in the form of a soul. He couldn't resist Smith's cursed coin and was swallowed completely by it. "Let me go. I don't want to die. I don't want to die." Bruce's voice echoed throughout Smith's mind. It was a wail that would never be quieted. When Sienna hurried to the site, she only saw Bruce's body get lifted out of the elevator. His death had been tragic. Sienna also saw David. "David, David." "Sienna, how come you're here?" David walked over. "What happened? How did Principal Bruce die?" "Elevator accident. The cable snapped, and he fell from the 12th floor. You know him?" "He hired me as UCLA's special safety consultant, but we didn't have an official contract. It was just a verbal agreement." Sienna was close to a breakdown. If Bruce died, it meant that her and Chris' job would be gone too. "I think that his death is unnatural," she continued. "The moment before he died, he called me, but the accident happened before he could speak." "You mean he was killed by an evil spirit?" "It shouldn't be an evil spirit. They won't kill people in the daytime." "Can you find the truth behind his death?" "I'm not sure," Sienna said gravely. "Can you give me a copy of the forensic report?" "Sure." David nodded. "I'll definitely find the criminal." Sienna gritted out. "He stole my job." "Chun, I got invited to the IAAF Diamond League." Rufford called Chun Zhao excitedly. "I can race in the Diamond League." The IAAF Diamond League was previously called the Golden League. It was the most prestigious race in track. It was even more competitive than the Olympics. Every track athlete dreamed of standing on that stage, becoming the one under the spotlight. Rufford had only been a B-list sprinter before. Now, he was a well-known athlete. "Congrats, Rufford. When is the race?" "It starts on May 14th. There are 14 stops." "Is any stop in America?" "Yes. It's held in New York on June 21st. I'll be really happy if you can come to that one." Qin Zhao considered it. There was still half a year. "If I go, can you break a record?" "I'll try." "No, I promise." "Then I'll come." As Rufford's fame grew, his commercial activities grew in number two. However, he knew that his current achievements weren't enough to make him rich. He still paid more attention to training and all sorts of races. Chun Zhao didn't object. Rufford doing more commercial activities could make him more money, but these short-term benefits weren't what he was looking for. Sacrificing long-term benefits was the stupidest thing. Chun Zhao would rather not make a cent from Rufford in a year and make more after that. Rufford was now signed under CAA management and had his own manager. CAA's plan for him was to mainly prepare for races. Of course, this didn't mean that CAA wasn't an ethical business. It was merely because they wanted to dig out more value in him. As an athlete, his commercial value was completely expressed in his achievements. It was just like how an actor's value came from his box office or ratings. "Kate, welcome to the club." Kate was introduced to all the members there. This club was called Vertical. It was for people who liked climbing up tall buildings. She obviously wasn't interested in this at all. She'd only concealed her identity and came for a secret interview. The leader, Liam Horton, knew who she was, but Kate had bribed him to let her in. The other members were clueless. They thought she was a newbie with this hobby. There were two types of building climbing. One was with equipment and another was without. The latter was more dangerous. In most cases, it was illegal too. Most members of Vertical had been arrested. Of course, some also went to heaven. "Kate, have you done any challenges before joining?" I'm a pure newbie. I'm not brave enough to try tall buildings. I've only tried my apartment building, 10 floors." "As a newbie, your performance is already impressive. I heard that you're the most professional building climbing team in LA. Is that true?" "Of course," Liam said confidently. "Then, as the leader, you should be the best one too." We're the most professional group, but I'm not the best of LA." Why not? Chapter 247, Investigation. Chapter 247, Investigation. Not every building climber has a society. Some people prefer to climb alone, Rem Horton said. The best building climber should be the so-called Spider-Man. Spider-Man? Let me show you a video. Rem took out his phone and played a video. Is that CL building? Yes, it's filmed by one of our members. 20 days ago, we planned to challenge CL building, so we want to survey the place. To avoid unnecessary attention, we always went there at night, and then we discovered this. In the video, a black dot appeared. It seemed to be a person on the outer wall of the building. Do you have a clearer picture? No, it's filmed with a phone. Kate took the phone and watched the video carefully. He has climbing equipment, right? Yes, it's the very popular Spider-Man equipment in the profession. You can't climb CL building without equipment because the wall has no protrusions. I can't see why the person is special. As an outsider, Kate clearly could not understand the significance of the video. We're the most professional team in this field. What? Explain how good this Spider-Man is, Rem said to one of his teammates. CL building has 130 floors in total, with a height of 421 meters. We planned to climb it in about 8 hours, but the person did it in less than 2 hours. Kate fast-forwarded the video to the end. She saw the Spider-Man do something on the second-to-last floor and then enter the building. Kate frowned, deep in thought. When was this filmed? About 7 p.m. on the 3rd of January. Can you send it to me? I want to study it further, Kate asked. Of course. Everyone in our team has a copy. Mr. Risfar, Ms. Laura's condition has stabilized. We suggest getting her discharged and finding her a place to rest. It was not the first time Risfar had heard the same line. In the last 2 years, Risfar had already received notice of terminal illness, as well as notice of stability, 4 times. Although Laura had managed to get better each time, her condition was worsening. Whenever Risfar received the bad news, he was totally unsure if his wife could make it. He was really scared that one day, he would not receive the second notice. The carefree kids were playing happily outside, but he was not in the mood to accompany them. Today, John Jr. had been sent here to play with Ronnie and Vera. He did not look like a kid who had been tortured by an illness for several years. Instead, he was healthy, lively, and filled with energy. Manus, have you finished gathering the information I need? Yes, here's all the information about Ford Johnson. After getting the information, Risfar started to read it carefully. Is there anyone she's particularly close to in the hospital? She's quite a popular person in the hospital. A few male doctors are chasing her, but she hasn't accepted any of them. There is no one she is particularly close to. Also, her medical skill is very outstanding, with a lot of praises from patients and their families. How about outside work? Family, boyfriend, or other friends? Her father is a former state representative, and her mother is the major shareholder and chairman of a chain supermarket in California. Her sister is a lifeguard at the Coastal Rescue Team and is in LA as well. That's all? There is also some irrelevant information. I thought you won't be interested in it. I said I want detailed information. The more detailed, the better. All right. For had 3 boyfriends. Her sister currently has a boyfriend. A Chinese, illegal doctor. Huh. Chinese? A legal doctor? Yes. He has quite a reputation in the profession. People say that he is really good and he has built good relationships with a lot of his patients, but it's really expensive to hire him. Risfar touched his chin. Investigate this person. 3 hours later, Risfar received the information. Nevertheless, he was somewhat surprised, because he had seen the person in the photo. It's him? Risfar thought. Huh. John Jr. had entered the room quietly. Koi, what's wrong? Risfar lifted his head and looked at John Jr. I think I've seen him before. John Jr. clearly looked confused. You've seen him? Yes, let me think. Where was it? John Jr. tried his best to recall. Oh, it was in a very, very bright room. There was also a little girl. I was on a bed, and the girl was lying on another bed. Risfar frowned. Really? I only remember that much. When was it? A few days ago. I fell asleep at home, and Dad sent me to the hospital. I kept sleeping, and I suddenly opened my eyes and saw that uncle. Then the uncle said that I was dreaming, and I can't remember anything else. Risfar was even more puzzled. It seemed like John Jr. had really been dreaming. It sounded very unreal, but John's expression was very serious. Risfar wanted to trust him. Risfar called Manus again. Manus, help me to get something. I want the surveillance videos in Chantilly Hospital from January 25th to 27th. Risfar stared at the screen. He did not fast forward and watch the videos second by second. Risfar was excited to see Chun Zhao appear in the hospital. Dell was with him. The girl in Dell's arms should be Faith. Was Faith sick? At noon, Chun Zhao left the hospital and was almost run over by a car at the entrance. The person who alighted from the car was precisely John. He carried his son from the car. At night, Chun Zhao appeared in the hospital again. He entered the changing room and changed into a white coat, but then he disappeared from the videos. Nonetheless, the cameras still recorded Take Faith and John Jr. from their ward. Half an hour later, they returned to the ward again. At 1 in the morning, Chun Zhao and Dell appeared in the videos again and left the hospital in a car. That's right, it's him. Chapter 248. What the heck is a treasure stone? Chapter 248. What the heck is a treasure stone? John, can you come over? What's wrong? Did little John cause trouble? No, I have something to show you. A while later, John came over. Risfar took him to his room and played the surveillance video that he'd chosen. Risfar, what is this? This is probably the one who cured Koi, Risfar said. Look at the timing. The first time you two met, it was here. He came out of the hospital and you almost ran into him. John watched the video in silence. No one knew what he was thinking. Then here, Doctor. For called him, seemingly pleading with him. After ending he called, Doctor. For very clearly relaxed. Risfar extracted surveillance footage from various locations and played them for John. John, I'd like to know what exchange you did with Doctor. For to have her beg this Chinese man to help. I didn't do anything other than promising to keep it a secret, John said uncomfortably. He thanked For and this Chinese man. On the other hand, he also hoped that his sister could recover. Did she take your money? No. Other than the regular hospital fees, I didn't pay her anything else. Is Doctor For close to Koi? Pretty much. When Doctor For first came to this hospital as an intern, her first responsibility was to help the main doctor treat Koi. I went to the hospital many times after that and always saw her play with Koi. They have a good relationship. I think that Doctor For treats him like her own brother. Hearing this, Risfar had to admit that little John was lucky to meet a savior. John, can you help me talk to Doctor For? Can she help me with Laura? Risfar, I want Laura to get better too, but the main person is the Chinese man and not Doctor For. I suggest you work on him instead. How? Collect information on him first. We don't know anything about him right now. Just freaking out is useless. Ada, my father wants me to tell you something, Abidos said, suddenly running over to Chan Zhao. What? My father said that he needs large amounts of treasure stones. What are treasure stones? Pearls. Pearls? Are you sure he said pearls? Does he want to sell them in hell? Well, that's what he told me. Large amounts of pearl? Where could he find that? Chun Zhao was caught off guard by Abido's message. How much does your father want? 1,000 kilograms, Abidos said. What does he want it for? I don't know, but it sounds urgent. How urgent? Really, really urgent. Does he have requirements about the quality? He didn't say. If he didn't say, then he probably doesn't have requirements. If that was the case, then he did have enough money. He couldn't even get Beelzebub Zophie 50 kilograms of high-quality pearls. He didn't have much experience with this, so he wasn't clear about the market price. There was a big difference in price between high and low-quality pearls. Some single pearls could be tens of thousands of dollars apiece. Others were sold according to weight. Considering this, he called Morgary. Morgary, what? Do you know anyone who sells pearls? No. Okay then. Oh, my hair grew out in some places, but other spots are still bald. It's too ugly. When do you have time to give me another treatment? After a few days. I'm busy now. So I have to suffer with this ugly hairstyle? You can shave it all off? No, I just grew it out. I won't shave it. I'm hanging up. I'm busy. If it's really urgent, I can have people ask around. You do that while I ask more people. After hanging up, Chun Zhao called Zola. Zola, how are you? Chun, you'll never call me if you don't need help. Did you plan on cutting off all connection after getting a girlfriend? No way. I've just been a bit busy these days. Tell me, what's up? Do you know any jewelry sellers? I want to buy pearls. A lot of it. What do you want pearls for? Okay, I don't want to know. I know a seller and I can ask. What quality and quantity? Don't care about the quality. 1,000 kilograms. I thought you were going to use it for medicine. I heard that you Chinese people have that custom, but it seems not to be the case. Around 10 minutes later, an unfamiliar number called. Hello, is it Mr. Chin? Yes. May I ask who you are? I'm a jewelry seller. My name is Spike. I mainly sell pearls. Zola told me to call. Are you thinking of buying pearls? Yes. I want to know the price. Are you looking for artificially bred pearls or all natural? What are the general price ranges? Artificially bred pearls are around $38 per kilogram. All natural pearls are $280 per kilogram. Natural pearls were 7 or 8 times more expensive. Chun Zhao thought for a moment. They all said that artificial and natural pearls had quite a big difference. If he brought artificially bred pearls to hell, Zoffy might not be able to use it. If he was going to do this, he should just do it all. I want natural pearls. How many would you like? 1,000 kilograms? That much? Spike was surprised. After half a beat of silence, he said, I need 2 days to prepare the supplies. Is that okay? Abitos, is 2 days ago? All right, Abitos replied. I'll tell my dad. Mr. Spike, since I'm buying so much, can you lower the price a bit? What is your ideal price? Spike asked tentatively. $240 per kilogram? Sure. Spike agreed immediately. Chun Zhao regretted it. It seemed that he'd still given too high of a price. However, he didn't really mind this number. After coming to an agreement with Spike, Chun Zhao started thinking about why Zoffy wanted all these pearls. It seemed to be called treasure stones in Hell too. This meant that Hell had pearls, or pearls had appeared there before. Chapter 249, Market Fluctuation. Chapter 249, Market Fluctuation. 1,200,000. Going once, going twice, sold. Congratulations to Mr. Risfar for getting the Rawls Wine Cellar 1842 red wine. John glanced at Risfar. Only he would spend 2 million on a bottle of wine. Risfar had been running an ocean shipping company, GDB Ocean Shipping. Its market value was 20 billion. GDB Ocean Shipping had 18 supercargo ships, 4 of which were ranked among the top 10 cargo ships in the world. GDB Ocean Shipping was also the largest shipping company in Europe, accounting for 21% of the total ocean imports and exports in Europe. Now, GDB Ocean Shipping was planning to extend its influence to America. While John himself was also quite rich, he knew that his wealth was insignificant before Risfar. Risfar held 25% of the shares in GDB, that is, he had over 5 billion worth of assets. Of course, it was only the market valuation. He obviously did not have that much money in his bank. Nonetheless, if he wanted to sell his shares, there would definitely be countless people and firms waving their checks and begging to buy them. Just then, Risfar's phone rang. Hi, Manus. Mr. Risfar, I just discovered something. What? That Chinese is buying natural pearls? Huh. Do you know the reason? No. He needs quite a lot. 1 ton actually. Risfar turned his head and looked at John. John, do you have 1 ton of pearls? Yes, I have more than 10 cultured pearl farms in Thailand and the Philippines. I can even get you 100 tons. No, I mean natural pearls. Natural ones? Why do you need that much? Gift for someone? That Chinese? Yes. Sure. I'll help you to get them. Natural pearls had always been insufficient on the market. Their demand was way higher than their supply. Even though John was the biggest jeweler in the region, he did not have an entire ton of natural pearls. Nevertheless, with his influence, getting 1 ton was not a difficult task. Hi, Jenny, how much natural pearls do you have? I want all of them. Spike, I have no natural pearls. Do you want cultured ones? What? Didn't you just purchase 100 kilograms of natural pearls half a month ago? Yes, but someone bought all of them today. Okay, I'll ask another person. Spike asked another jeweler, rolling, I need some natural pearls. Sorry, I've sold all of them. What? To who? Mr. John. He's purchasing natural pearls. I've sold all my pearls to him. All right. Spike did not give up. He asked a few more jewelers, but only received the same reply. Why is Mr. John buying natural pearls? Could there be some insider information that the price of natural pearls is going to increase? Spike would not have thought so if it was cultured pearls instead, since their supply had always been greater than demand. On the other hand, natural pearls had been in short supply. Therefore, if a pearl field encountered a storm or a big jewel brand had some plan, the price of natural pearls would increase. This was precisely Spike's guess. Otherwise, why would Mr. John and that Chinese buy natural pearls? There must have been a leak of insider information, although Spike had yet to receive the news. After some consideration, Spike made his decision. He would also purchase more natural pearls. In addition, he would contact all the jewelers in the eastern region too, instead of just Los Angeles. As for that Chinese, Spike did not want to sell him anything already. Mr. Chun, I'm sorry, but I think our deal cannot continue. Why? There has been a fluctuation in the natural pearl market. All the jewelers are hoarding natural pearls, and I can't get any. How much do you have? I'll buy those first and think of another way for the rest, Chen Zhao said. How much money will you give? The original price you said, $280 per kilogram. That's not the current price anymore. Then how much is it? Chen Zhao was somewhat impatient. $350 per kilogram. Chen Zhao was very frustrated, but he still gritted his teeth and accepted the price. Fine. Wait, I said it wrongly. It's 400 per kg. Spike thought that since Chen Zhao had agreed so easily, his price must be too low. Chen Zhao surely had the secret information too. China was a major pearl market. Perhaps Chen Zhao knew something precisely because China was about to make a big move. It's robbery, Chen Zhao shouted, annoyed. No, it's the market. We had no contract and have not finished our deal, so we can still change the price. I can, and so can you. I don't want it anymore. Chen Zhao did not like being fooled by others. Then goodbye. Spike hung up. Chen Zhao was so angry that he almost smashed his phone on the ground, but he eventually did not, considering that he had just bought it recently. Boss, we've bought enough pearls. However, because of this, the price of natural pearls has changed greatly. Now it's already $340 per kilogram. We have also spent more money as a result. So high? Is there insider news? No, we've confirmed that it's because of your purchase. A lot of jewelers think that there's actually some insider information. John laughed. He usually would not trade natural pearls, but as the largest cultured pearl supplier in the region and the owner of the famous jewel brand Alita, he still had a big influence. When other jewelers realized he was buying large amounts of natural pearls, it was normal for them to think that he had some insider information. Nevertheless, when they discovered there was nothing after 2 days, the price would fall back. Then release fake news to remove some of the individual jewelers from the game. As the main player, John could easily control the market. His every action could cause people to become suspicious and the market to fluctuate. John took his phone and called Risfar. Mr. Risfar, I've enough pearls. Call him directly. Me? Shouldn't it be you? John was confused why Risfar would give him the opportunity to help Chen Zhao. Although John was really grateful for what Chen Zhao had done, he could return the favor later. Why did Risfar ask him to call Chen Zhao directly? Chapter 250, Red Wine. Chapter 250, Red Wine. Zola, that pearl seller you introduced to me is an asshole. What's wrong? Zola was confused. She didn't know what had happened. Chen Zhao told her about Spike raising the price for no reason, adding more emotion and details. Hearing this, Zola furrowed her brows. I see. I'll make sure to get an explanation. Zola and Spike were only work partners. However, Zola worked in high fashion. Her brand used some jewelry and accessories. In essence, Zola was Spike's source of income. If she stopped working with him, Spike would definitely have great losses. After tattling, Chen Zhao felt much better. Just then, he got a call from an unfamiliar number. Hello, who is it? Hello, I am John Longsha. Hello, Mr. John Longsha. Do I know you? I heard that you need pearls. Huh, how do you know? Chen Zhao was confused. I have a batch of natural pearls on me, John said. 1 ton. Do you need it? What price? $180. $180. That's it? Are you sure? I heard that the price in the pearl market is very high now, much higher than this. Chen Zhao was guarded. After all, with such a low price, the man might be trying to scam him with artificially bred pearls. This is the true market price. The rise in price these past 2 days is because of my purchases. John was actually able to give it to Chen Zhao for free. He bought all the pearls for $200,000. Selling it to Chen Zhao for $180 was already a big loss. But with his background, he could gift him 10 tons easily. Why are you doing this? We don't know each other. I know you, and that's all that matters. If you need the pearls, I can send them to your home. Are you serious? Yes. How can I pay you? You can pay after you receive it, John said, chuckling. You can find a professional to check and send me the money after you're sure there are no problems. Okay. My address is 13 Banana Street, Mountain Town. Please wait at home. My package will be delivered within the hour. Chen Zhao thought for a moment, but he didn't know any pearl appraisers. Just then, Norman's called. Hey, asshole. You haven't come here in 3 days. Did you forget your job? I'm busy. I'll go over when I'm free. Plus, it's only like 10 pounds. You can do it by yourself in 2 days. There's no one to talk to when you're not here. I have no motivation. I'm seriously busy. Busy with what? Oh, right. Do you know any jewelry appraisers? What jewelry do you want appraised? Pearls. I bought some and need a professional to appraise it for me. I'm coming. Coming for what? I'll help you. Are you sure? Don't scam me. Do you want help or not? Yes, yes, yes. Please come. You came over before, so you should know where I live, right? Norman's hung up and hurried over. 30 minutes later, she was here with Wouter. Wouter was excited to be back here and ran around, playing with Black Ma and White Ma. Norman's came in with her kit. Where are your pearls? It's not here yet, Chen Zhao said. Wait a bit. Your house is so small. Look, White Ma and Black Ma can't even run around in here. You should just bring them to my place. It's bigger. You can tell them yourself. If they're willing to go with you, then they can go. Norman's looked at them. Black Ma, White Ma, come to my place. I have good food. They ignored her. What a joke. Other than her house being bigger, there was nothing good about it. There were demonic crystals here. Chen Zhao would give them some every now and then. Normans knew that she would get this result, but she was still annoyed at getting ignored. How come the dogs and owner are all so annoying? Just then, there was a knock on the door. Chen Zhao opened it. There was an unfamiliar man in work clothes. A few men in similar attire stood behind him. Hello, who are you looking for? Are you Mr. Chin? We are the delivery men from Arita Pearl Company. My task is to send a package of pearls to you. Chun Zhao nodded. He took out his license. The delivery man confirmed it and said, "Excuse me, where should we put the pearls?" "Put it into the basement." The workers brought boxes of pearls into the basement. Each box had Arita's logo. They all contained 2 kilograms. "Hey, asshole, how many pearls did you buy? I thought you bought some $10,000 high-quality pearl. I only need you to check if these are natural or not. Then why did I bring so many tools? You can tell just from the luster and color." "I didn't tell you to bring the tools. You brought it over yourself." Norman's was furious, but she still helped Qin Zhao in the end. "These are all natural pearls. The quality's pretty high too. Aren't you a doctor? Why do you need so many of these? Are you going to change your career?" "No, I have other uses." Qin Zhao shook his head. "Okay, your task is complete. You can go home now." "What? You're kicking me out?" "Of course. This is my home, and my girlfriend's coming back soon. I don't want her to misunderstand." "What if I don't leave?" "Black Ma, White Ma, please see her out." Norman stomped her feet in anger and left in a huff. Qin Zhao put all the pearls into the spatial ring and called John. "Hello, Mr. Longsha. I received the delivery. Please send me your bank account." A car parked outside at that moment. Del, Risfar, and their kids hopped off. "Uncle Chin, we're here to visit you," Faith greeted Chun Zhao. She brought the 2 older girls into the house. "Mr. Longsha, I have guests. I'll send you the money later." After hanging up, Chun Zhao went to welcome Del and Risfar. "Mr. Risfar, how come you're visiting?" "My daughters want to see White Ma and Black Ma, so I brought them here." "Mr. Chun, you won't mind, right?" "Of course not. I'm glad they like White Ma and Black Ma." "Mr. Chun, this is for you." Risfar offered Chun Zhao a fancy bottle of red wine. "Thank you." Chun Zhao took it without hesitation. "Please come in." You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.